Yes. I don't fucking know. Okay, let's let's do more fucking reading. Oh, so so much reading in this game. I swear, if there's like less than an hour of game left, I don't think there is. I'm fairly certain we've probably got at least 2 hours of reading ahead of us. But if for some reason there's less than an hour total in these last like 3-4 chapters that we have to do, it looks like there's two sweet like okay. We're here at 14. Okay, I don't understand sweet chapters unless that's like a translation mistake, but I don't. There's not been a translation mistake where they've completely mistranslated something like that. So I don't. Also, what are the affinity things? How have I missed out on the affinity? Unless that comes post game. At dawn, I went out early with the waiter. We went into the city through the southeast gate of Haijiao, heading to the morning market to buy stuff. We only had about 2 hours to shop, as being late meant we'd be stuck inside the city. We hurried along, hardly talking. Along the way, I counted the days since I met these girls. It had been about 20 days, if my math was right. Looking back, I realized how much those 20 days had changed me. The old me would have been shocked to see all I've done for these girls now.
哎，这位老爷要点什么？
I'm looking to buy gifts for 4 girls, ranging from 12 to 6 years old. What do you think would be suitable?
哟，您可问对人了。我家里也有女娃，最懂小娃子们想要啥。时辰的小娃子都喜欢风车、拨浪鼓或是陶响球，给他们一个，他们能玩好久。
Those all make noise.
若是再大了些，到了金钗这年呢，女娃变爱美喽，就得送他们衣装或饰品。诶，您看起来年纪也不大吧？家里怎么有4个女娃子呀？
Let's see, what? No, aren't we like 26? I mean, it's entirely plausible for him to have 4 girls in that age range. I mean, he'd be really young to have that first one, but like, it's plausible. It's not out of the realm possibility. I'm not married. They're not mine, just kids I'm looking after for friends. Enough chat. Show me what you've got.
好嘞。
I got gifts for the girls. Later, I grabbed breakfast at a bun shop and got a basket of buns to go. After packing up everything, I met with the waiter and we headed back to the inn together. I feel like this is going to be such a bittersweet ending. Bang, bang, bang. Get up, all of you, downstairs to the lobby. After returning to the inn, I went to the girls' doors, knocked 3 times, and told them to come downstairs. They straightened their clothes, rubbed their sleepy eyes, and slowly gathered in the lobby.
梁爷，你这么早就叫我们起来啊？
It's not early anymore. The rooster crowed 2 hours ago. Come, got you girls a basket of buns. I laid the bundle containing the buns on the table. Just the word buns is making me giggle right now. Don't know why. And opened it up. 8 buns were laid out, catching the girls' eyes right away.
又是馒头呀！哇，梁爷真好，肉馒头，肉馒头。
Yo, mento! Meat buns! Yeah! Did I even pronounce that right? Like, I wish I could go backwards so I could re-listen to what she just said. Because now I'm also forgetting how to pronounce that. The 3 girls gathered excitedly, their eyes sparkling as if about to drool at the sight of the buns. What are you waiting for? Dig in. But only take 2 each, no more. I chuckled and the kids eagerly reached out to grab their buns.
梁爷不给自己留吗？
Mansui asked, puzzled, holding one. Nope, already had mine. Finish up, then I'll show you what I got for you girls. I casually remarked as they chewed on the buns.
我
Suiere asked me with a mouthful of a bun, her words somewhat muffled. Yeah, I bought gifts for you, in another package.
我也要看。
The 2 sisters came to the package containing the gifts, holding their buns. Wait, finish eating before checking out the gifts. Don't forget to wash your hands or you'll dirty them. I cautioned the eager girls seriously. They obediently tucked their hands back. Sigh. What's the rush? After half an incense stick's time, the lambs finished their buns. They wiped their oily mouths, washed their hands, and gathered around the wooden table, eagerly waiting for me to unwrap the package. I opened the package, revealing its contents to them. A red tambourine, a green clay rattle, and a purple wind wheel toy. Here, these are all for you. I pointed to the gifts in the package, speaking slowly.
Wow!
Swear gasped, leaning in to get a better look at the gifts. The other lambs were glued to the side as well. I aimed to hand out the gifts individually and show them how to play with each one. Honger, here's your tambourine.
这要咋玩？
Just give it a smack. Watch. Hold it like this and spin it back and forth to make some noise. Wait, did I mix up instruments? Tambourine. I mean, you can smack it a little, but yeah, I guess primarily you're supposed to shake it. Oops. Oh, I know my instruments. I'm so musically inclined.
谢谢良爷。
After showing her how to use the tambourine, I gave it to her. She seemed pretty happy with it. Swear, here's your clay rattle.
好像球，这要咋玩？
We are literally becoming a traveling performing troupe now. Like, we are becoming what we once lied about. Just shake it near your ear or roll it on the ground. You'll hear something special.
我听听。是啥子的声音？翠儿，快说谢谢良爷。谢谢良爷。
I gave the clay rattle to Swear. She took it carefully like she was holding a treasure. Quickly, she shook it by her ear, enjoying the sound of the sand inside. Changhua!
在。
Don't get too excited. Here, take this wind wheel. I gave the wind wheel to Changhua. I wasn't sure if this little thing would be too shabby, but I couldn't think of anything else suitable, so I picked this for you.
没事的，我很喜欢的。
This game is so sweet. This game's gonna break my heart, isn't it? It's gonna have such a sad fucking ending. There's no way our character survives, right? Right? Just blow on it and the wind wheel will start spinning.
好呀，我试试看。良爷，它真的吹起来了，好看。
Changhua showed me the wind wheel. Really excited. Well, if she's happy with it, that's good. Honestly, I was worried she might not like it given her background. But thankfully, kids usually like anything you give them. Yeah, usually, yeah. Okay.
良爷，没给我买礼物吗？
Oh yeah. After unpacking everything from the package, Mansui spoke up suddenly. She poked my arm, frowning slightly, seeming mostly confused but a bit annoyed. Nope, didn't buy you anything. Her face now showed equal parts confusion and irritation. Since you weren't well behaved, I didn't buy you one. Now she's mostly annoyed.
不买就不买。
She muttered in frustration, then turned away from me. You fell for it? She seemed mad. Had my fun, time to drop the act. Okay, no more teasing. Actually, I got you a gift too, but I didn't give it to you because we still have some traveling ahead.
哦，原来是这样。那良爷为何刚才要骗我呀？
Because you've tricked me before, so I wanted to get back at you and see how you'd react.
良爷这么大岁数，还和我一般见识，真是孩子气。
Maybe so, but I had to get even with you or I wouldn't feel right. Mansui laughed and teased me, and I didn't respond kindly.
那是什么礼物？什么时候给我看呀？
I'll open it up for you later on the carriage ride. Kite. After giving the gifts to the lambs, I called out to Kite.
怎么，要走了吗？
Kite lifted the curtain from the back kitchen and strolled over. Yeah, gifts are done. Gotta pack up with the lass, leaving soon.
这么急？你不多休息些时日，
Got no choice. Delay too long, employers might catch on. Taking this last to Luoyang first, then escaping south.
还是要去洛阳呀？
一定要去的。
Mansui chimed in eagerly. It wasn't until then that I remembered. Stayed up too late last night and had to rise early. I still hadn't talked to the lass about what she planned to do in Liaoyang. I wanted to persuade her to give up on her revenge, to let go of that swine demon. But I never got around to it. Oh well, we'll be passing through Liaoyang anyway on our way south. I can talk to her on the road. No rush.
行，早上我已经叫老牛跑了一趟，给驿站打过招呼了。你到时候报我名字去乘车就好。梁，我怎么觉得你每次见我，都像是在逃命？
Kite chuckled, teasing me. I had to admit, she had a point. Every time I met her, it did feel like I was either escaping or on the run.
亮爷，
As I spaced out, I heard Suier's voice.
你要揍脸吗？
Suier held the clay rattle I gave her, looking at me with a puzzled expression. Yeah, I'm leaving with Sisui soon. When the three girls heard we were about to leave, they suddenly got a bit panicked.
我不想让你走。
We've been through this! We went through this already! Don't make me go through it again! Suier rushed over, clutching onto my leg tightly. Tears streamed down her face. Hey, stop that, okay? You cried last night and now you're crying today. I told you, didn't I? I've got to go. From now on, you and Hong-er will live with Sis Kite. You've got to work hard. Sis Kite will take care of your food and shelter, but you need to learn some skills too. As for Changhua, she'll stay with Kite for now. Kite will help her get in touch with her family until someone comes to pick her up.
可是我还是不想亮爷走，不想随姐姐走。
Stop it.
不要！
Suier still held onto my leg, crying and fussing. Tears and snot smeared on my leg.
翠儿，宝闹了！
Hong-er shouted at Suier. Suier lifted her tear-streaked face from my leg, looking at her sister with watery eyes.
昨晚都说好的，回去俺跟你说了，亮爷和穗儿姐会走。穗儿姐昨天晚上也抱着你睡了，亮爷也送你礼物了，该做的事都做了，已经好好告别了。你现在又在闹啥嘛你？
Hong-er scolded Suier. However, her eyes had also reddened. Sigh. Maybe that's just how kids are. Even though we talked about leaving last night and she seemed okay with it, she's acting up again today. The younger they are, the harder goodbyes seem to be for them. True?
好了好了，翠儿，听渊姐姐说几句吧。你们梁爷呢，有要事要办，这次只是暂时要走。
Oh, she's gonna trap me back here, isn't she? I mean, I'll come back for Kite. Whatever Kite wants, I'm coming back.
但是他这个人呢，早晚会回来的。我这是第3次见你们梁爷了，他总是会在我无法预料到的时候重新找来。之后呢，你们跟我学手艺，给我干活儿，我也会对你们好的。梁爷对你们有多好，我保证对你们加1倍好。
Ooh, competition, Kite. Kite reached out and gave Suier's head a gentle pat. Suier let go of my hand and stared at Kite blankly.
之后，亮爷和穗姐姐真的会回来吗？
会的。
Kite assured Suier.
会的。
Mansui also promised Suier. Her eyes looked very sincere, not like she was lying. But I knew. This lass could easily pretend to be sincere to trick people. Anyway, after that, Suier stopped causing trouble. Before Mansui and I left, she hugged the lambs one after another, whispering into each of their ears. I didn't catch what was said. Then we said goodbye to the lambs, crossed the inn's threshold, and were about to leave. Oh, Changhua. I also love this art. This image here is so good. Before leaving the inn, I heard Changhua call out to me. Yeah? I turned back. I waited for her to speak, but tears welled up in her eyes, and she didn't say anything else. As I was about to leave, it hit me that Changhua might be even sadder than Hong'er and Swear. I would be going 1,000 miles south, and once her parents came for her, they would head north 1,000 miles too. This meant that even if I returned someday while Hong'er and Swear might still be around, Changhua probably wouldn't. It's a farewell, a final goodbye. Go back and give Changhua another hug right now. You go back and give her another goddamn hug. People always experience their last moments with others unexpectedly. Even times of peace, but especially in times of chaos, it's just the way it goes. And that's the case with her and me. Bye. I mumbled, my voice a bit distant. Then turning away, I walked forward alongside Mansui. Oh, we're so cool. A breeze swept by, tousling my hair and ruffling my clothes. I pulled down my bamboo hat to keep my hair in check. I could hear the little windwheel spinning behind me. It was accompanied by the tambourine's beat and the soft rustle of the clay rattle. Their cries, though muted, were unmistakable. Amidst the music, I could hear the faint sobs of the girls. All the sounds melted together. Adjusting my bamboo hat, I marched forward. The noises faded into the distance until they vanished. But even though it might be our last, we still said goodbye. That's more than some people can say they got to do.
梁爷，你就这么把他们留客栈了呀？
We walked along the dirt road, and Mansui suddenly turned to ask me. Yep, I've sorted things out with Kite. She'll look after them fine. Hong'er and Suyer will be with her from now on, and as for Changhua, Kite will help her get back to her family.
哦，梁爷还挺信任袁姐姐的。难道你们是老相好？
Don't talk nonsense. She got married 2 years ago. It has nothing to do with me. I trust her because we have some old debts between us. I once saved her life, and she helped me sell stolen goods and evade pursuit by the authorities.
哦，
Mansui nodded. Probably figured out Kite's background. What about you? Do you distrust Kite?
信任啊。以前有个姐姐对我很好，她就有点像袁姐姐。
Okay, the sister has to be a found family sister. Huh? She had a sister before? Was she her real sister? I detected something suspicious in her words, but I didn't plan to delve into such minor matters.
梁爷为何唯独没把我留客栈？
We had been walking towards the station for a while when she suddenly asked me. I can't take care of too many lambs. Besides, didn't you mention wanting to seek revenge in Liaoyang before? I replied, lowering my voice. She seemed a bit lost when I asked, as if needing a moment to gather her thoughts. Eventually, in a raspy voice, she responded.
对，我还是要去洛阳的，我一定要去复仇。梁爷还是可以把我卖给屯妖，尹三应该在洛阳城里有线人。你可以说在路上遇到几只大虫，其他孩子和星爷都被吃了，只赶着救出了我。我再帮你一起撒谎作证，他们大概就不追究梁爷的责任了，兴许还能多给你一笔钱。
They're not gonna give me extra money for shit. She calmly outlined her plan to sell herself to the swine demon. She talked about it as if it wasn't her own fate she was deciding. I thought about what she said. It made sense. It didn't cost much for Yin-san to get a lamb, but the swine demon would pay a lot more. If I give them a lamb, Yin-san gets his money back. And if the swine demon really needs a lamb, they'll take it, even just one. If I give Mansui to them and blame the missing stuff on tigers, I can still finish the deal like usual, then profit aside, I won't be blamed as much for messing it up. Looking at it like that, it's not a bad plan. Not good. I thought about it some more and there's a fatal flaw in this plan. What if Mansui's revenge ends up dragging me into it? If I send her over there and she goes through with the assassination, whether she Fucking, why is the webcam... Oh my god, this goddamn... What? You gonna work now? I really don't understand why it's such a bitch. If I send her over there and she goes through with the assassination, whether she succeeds or not, she's committing a heinous crime. Once she commits that crime, it's on me too, and I'll be implicated in her actions. Plus, didn't I already make up my mind? I won't send any lamb to the swine demon after all, especially considering what they'll be facing. It's just too despicable. Even for this lass who tried to kill me and lied to me before, I cannot bring myself to do it. I still say no to your revenge plan. I'll take you to Liaoyang, because I know lots of people there, and it's easier to sneak south from there. Once we're in Liaoyang, I won't contact anyone linked to Yin-san to sell you off. I'll think of another plan for you. I told Mansui.
好，那总之我们还是先去洛阳吧。大不了我也不复仇了，只是去那里玩一趟。
Mansui said with a smile. I wasn't sure if she truly meant it or was just trying to ease the tension. How could she treat something so serious so lightly? After a half-mile's walk, we arrived at the station Kite mentioned. These stations were usually for official use only, so common people like us couldn't use their transportation. But lately, with the new government rules, many of these stations had been downsized and things were a bit chaotic. The station staffs couldn't make ends meet with just government funds, so they started taking private jobs on the side. Kite pulled some strings and paid a bit, so we could hitch a ride on one of the delivery wagons heading towards Liaoyang.
你们就是老板娘介绍的人？
Yeah,
就你们俩，去哪儿？
just us two, heading to
上那边的
Liaoyang.
马车吧。注意一会儿上了车，不要乱动里面的东西。这些都是王府要的盐袋儿，你们下车前我都会查一遍。
He's going to the same place we are, isn't he? Got it. We'll behave and stay out of trouble. I told the wagon driver, then climbed onto the wagon with Mansui. I hopped on first, then reached out and helped her up onto the wagon. The wagon was packed with salt sacks, likely from the nearby salt pits by Haijiao. Mansui and I nestled among the sacks. She took one end and I settled at the other, facing each other. Space inside the wagon was tight, but it seemed like she had a bit more room to sit than I did. Hey, let's switch spots.
Huh?
I motioned to Mansui and she nodded, swapping spots with me. We're stuck in this wagon for 2 days, so I'm not going to be polite with her. Besides, she's smaller and better suited for this slightly narrower spot. Phew, this wagon's dark as heck. Feels like a jail ride. But hey, it's just a cargo hauler. Got one tiny window for air. Hey, was that a bit of foreshadowing? Like, is it actually jail? Like, are we actually fucked? I don't know. Got to endure this 2-day trip to Liaoyang. These recent days have been really rough. Might as well catch some sleep.
梁叶，
As I sighed and looked at the tiny window, Mansui called my name. What's the matter? I raised an eyebrow looking at her.
刚才车夫说的王爷，大概就是豚妖吧？
She whispered to me. Yeah, if it's the Lord of Liaoyang, then he's indeed the swine demon you're after. You knew the swine demon was the Lord all along?
对啊，早就知道了。
I'm baffled. How did this lass find out? Was it from Yin-san all along, or did she eavesdrop on my talk with Tongue? I just can't seem to puzzle it all out.
梁叶，我们如果在盐袋里下毒，是不是能毒死豚妖？
Just as I was wondering how she knew the swine demon was the Lord, she spoke up again. Nope, can't do that. There are too many palace servants. Poisoning the salt might harm innocent people. Plus, if the swine demon survives, they'll trace it back to the driver and us, putting Kite and the other lambs at risk too.
说的也是。
Mansui nodded, seemingly abandoning the idea of poisoning the salt bags.
那我们能不能藏在马车里，到时候杀出来，去杀了那豚妖？
I was kind of thinking the same thing. Nope. I'm not sure if this wagon is headed straight to their palace, but even if it is, we can't just go ahead with this plan. What if we charge out and the swine demon ain't there? We'd be in a fix. If we step out with blades, their guards will catch us in no time. And remember, killing the swine demon is your thing, not mine.
啊，这样吗？梁叶不是想做侠客吗？诛杀豚妖，青史留名。
Something about the themes of this story tells me not to be a hero. It seems like almost every... I've long abandoned the hero's path. I'm not willing to risk my life for a dream I've forsaken. I doused Mansui's enthusiasm, and she's still too naive. Even if I were to slay the swine demon, how could I make history? The chronicles are filled with his royal kin. They're the ones who write the history books. Killing him would merely make me another outlaw in the annals. Me and Mansui sat in the wagon. After about a stick of incense's time, the wagon finally started moving. Luckily, the wagon was pretty good at muffling sound, so our earlier talk probably went unheard by the driver. Then suddenly he shouted, "Moving! Hold on!" and he gave the reins a tug, setting the 4 horses pulling the wagon into motion. The clattering hooves and creaking wheels etched long trails in the dirt path. The wagon sped along, jolting us inside like bouncing bunnies, our backsides taking a pounding. I'm filthy. I'm sorry. 2 days of this and I'll need a cushion. Guess I'm more of a walker than a wagon rider. If it weren't for time constraints, I'd rather hoof it. Definitely walking next
梁
time.
爷，你之前去过洛阳吗？
Just as I was mulling over the rough ride ahead, Mansui piped up. Fair enough. Guess I could chat with her, kill some time. Went to Liaoyang twice before, just stopping by on
梁
business.
爷觉得洛阳和其他城市相比，有何不同？
Wider streets, bigger houses, richer people. Oh, but not everyone's rich. Rich get richer, poor get poorer. I explained to Mansui, sharing my impressions of Liaoyang. Besides that, lots of old buildings around. They say there are many ancient houses from the Tang and Song dynasties still standing in the city. And you, what do you think of Liaoyang? After sharing my thoughts, I asked. She mentioned she's from around Liaoyang, so she probably has some impressions of this city too.
我的记忆不太准了。我家虽然是住洛阳附近，但是离得还是有点远的。我很小的时候，是爹爹带我进洛阳城的。我记得城里有一条河，河的尽头是一个湖。那时，我好像走丢了，沿着河一边哭一边走，走到河的尽头看到一个湖，正好撞见了爹爹。
A river in Liaoyang. Oh, you mean the Chan River, right? But the Chan River connects to the Lu River, runs through the whole city. There can't be a lake, right?
那大概是我记错了吧？唉，可惜了呀。
What's wrong?
可惜翠儿妹妹她们从来没去过洛阳，我还想带她们看看来着。现在，走着走着，就只剩我和梁爷2个人了。
This lass had quite the imagination. One minute we were talking about Liaoyang, and the next she was lost in her own world, head slightly bowed. Let me ask you something. Right before we left, what did you tell them? I frowned and asked.
没说什么特别的，我就是跟他们说，今后还会来看他们。
Said the same thing to everyone?
都差不多。毕竟我没法给他们准备礼物，至少要跟他们说些送别的话。啊，说起来，梁爷是不是忘了给我的礼物？
Mansui suddenly got excited. She looked at me with hopeful eyes. Oh, I remembered now. This morning when I entered Haijiao, I got her a gift too. I haven't given it to her yet. Alright, I'll show you the gift now. I agreed and began reaching into the package behind me. After a few gropes, I easily found it. The gift was wrapped in a small package. I took it out and unwrapped it to show Mansui. It was a pair of shoes.
这是鞋？
Mansui looked at the pair of shoes in the package, a bit surprised. Inside the package was a pair of shoes. The shoes were light blue with pointed tips and bright silver peonies stitched on both sides, looking delicate and small like 2 little birds with folded wings. Mansui glanced at the shoes, then at me.
梁爷，为什么要给我买鞋？
After all the walking, I noticed your shoes were almost falling apart with your toes poking out. Worried about you having trouble walking later, so I got you a new pair of shoes. You don't like them?
喜欢。
Mansui lifted her gaze to meet mine, giving a slight smile. Her smile widened, showing her teeth, and revealing 2 shallow dimples. I was kind of surprised. Never seen her like this before. When she smiled before, it seemed oddly mature. Usually her smiles felt kind of grown up. But now she's just like any other girl her age, smiling brightly. Okay. I'm loving this. The progression between these two, right? When she was isolated and kind of she did not feel safe, she had this air of maturity to her, right? Because that was her self-defense mechanism. And then in early on in the story, in brief moments of where she felt safe, she was childish, right? And then now, and as the story's progressed, I feel like we've gotten to see more often as she feels more and more safer with Liang. She feels like she can be a child more consistently and show that's good. That's good shit.
料子真好，摸起来好软。
Once we held the shoes, no. Oh, I clicked too fast. They're expensive as hell. Cost me 400 coins, they did. Didn't we sell something that was like pretty much 400 coins? Or are tail different from coins? I don't know.
梁爷，你能帮我换吗？
She suddenly asked me softly. What? I didn't quite get what she meant right away.
就是帮我脱鞋，再给我换上新的。
Are we gonna get... Now, I could be forgetting one of her previous chapters. Maybe in one of her previous chapters, her dad helped her with her shoes. Or we're going to see in one of her remaining chapters, her dad helped her with shoes. Put her shoes on for her. Her face turned a bit red as she asked me, "You got hands and feet, why do you need me to do it?" I asked her in a low voice. And also, again, that moment there, what Liang is saying, like, is again expressing that more child likeness. This last, she wants me to change her shoes, can you believe it? Normally it's servants who change shoes for their masters. She's just a lamb I'm selling. If I were a human trafficker, she'd be my servant. How could she even ask me to change her shoes?
我记得很小的时候，爹爹也送了我一双鞋。
Oh, yep, she's...
当时便是他
She
给
views
我
us as her
换的。
dad. Fuck! She looked down, her eyes shaded by her bangs, like she was remembering something. I paused just when I thought she was pushing it. She explained why she wanted me to help her change her shoes. I see. She mentioned it a few days ago. Her sister and parents are all gone, and she doesn't have any family left in this world. Without family, not many people would bother to give her gifts or take care of her like this. She just wanted to feel cared for again. That's why she asked me to help her change her shoes when I gave them to her. This lass having her family taken away at such a young age. Even earlier than me. Without any family left. It's pretty sad. Alright, just this once. Don't expect me to help you next time. I sighed helplessly as I spoke to her. At the same time, I made up my mind to set aside my pride, picked up the shoes, and squatted in front of her. We were inside the wagon's cargo space, surrounded by bags of salt. The wagon jolted along, her on one side, me on the other. Neither of us spoke. Though it's just a simple shoe wrap, the process felt incredibly long. Mansui adjusted her position first. She leaned her upper body back, arms straight against the wooden planks of the cargo, bracing herself. Unlike her tilted upper body, her lower half leaned forward. She crossed her legs but slowly extended her foot, cautiously getting closer to me. The scene resembled a child by the lake, tentatively testing the water's depth. I'm gonna change them now, I said softly, breaking the awkward silence. Then I dropped to my left knee, kneeling in front of her. Reaching out, I grasped her left foot with both hands, intending to remove the shoe from that foot first. Her current shoe was indeed very dirty, torn and old, with many places worn through the original fabric. I gently held the ends of the worn-out shoe with my hands and quickly took it off. Her left foot was exposed, but like the rest of her body was slim and somewhat frail. You could see the bones in her sole and the grooves of her ankles, every line showing her thinness. But overall, her feet weren't wrapped. I heard fancy families like to tie up their ladies' feet to make them smaller and prettier. Okay. I don't get it, though. Tying feet like that just makes them look weird, not cute. But her feet growing naturally look pretty... Stop. Okay.
梁爷
What?
你怎么盯着我的脚
Yeah.
看那么久啊？看得我都不好意思了。
I just noticed you're really skinny. Thought you were thick-skinned. Wouldn't feel embarrassed.
那肯定会不好意思啊，毕竟男女有别。
She went all shy and red. Men and women are different. Funny hearing that from this cheeky little brat. But isn't it odd? Back at the bathhouse, I saw everything. She didn't seem bothered then. Now, just because I glanced at her feet, she's talking about men and women being different. Despite my thoughts, I kept them to myself. I didn't want to make her feel more uncomfortable. I proceeded with my task, removing her right shoe and slipping on the new ones with silver peony embroidery. The shoes slowly enveloped her feet, fitting snugly. I gently nudged the toe and adjusted the heel to ensure a perfect fit. Good fit?
挺合适的。
Try standing and moving around.
好。
Mansui nodded and stood up in the shoes I gave her. The wagon's cargo area was just high enough for her to stand. She tried out the feel of walking inside the wagon, stepping lightly on the wooden floorboards.
哇，很合适，穿着舒服。
After trying them out, she said to me, "That's good to hear. I was worried they might be too small."
不小不小，梁爷的这个礼物我很喜欢。
She said with a smile, and I felt relieved. Phew, finally done swapping her shoes. Funny thing is, even though she likes the new shoes I got her, she won't let go of her old ones. She packed those old shoes away in her bag. Is she just being tight-fisted, thinking she can sell those old shoes? Or were they a gift from her dad? Probably that second one. They're probably one of the last few things she has of her dad. After putting on the new shoes for Mansui, we stayed quiet for a while. She just sat there lost in her own thoughts. I didn't bother trying to figure out what was on her mind. Oh. I took a sip from my water jug and leaned against the tiny window of the cargo hold, watching the scenery outside. The wagon moved forward, leaving the landscape behind in a blur. With each bump of the wagon, the scenery outside fluctuated up and down. Watching the rapidly changing landscape, I began to feel drowsy. In 2 days, we'll get to Liaoyang City. What's our move? I reckon I'm not keen on taking her to the Swine Demon's place no more. But what's next for us? Where are we heading? With a lot on my mind, the sleepiness crept in. My upper and lower eyelids started to tussle, going on for about a dozen rounds. Then I tipped my head back, then forward, and finally shut my eyes. Zzz. Vaguely, I heard Mansui's voice. Dream or not, it felt like she asked me.
梁，之前杀了那么多人，你后悔吗？
She asked, no emotion, her voice airy, indifferent. Half asleep, I gave my answer. Oh, this is a good question! I'd say we probably regret being a killer. Regret. Oh, I like... Okay, that's a... Okay, they changed things up a little with that. Never before had we... Oh, shit. Okay, I'm gonna check out my dog, because she's been barking a lot downstairs, and I'm gonna go check on her. BRB. Okay. Well, my hair poofed up. Hungry. So hungry. I hadn't eaten for 3 straight days. Not even a bowl of thin porridge. I lay on the bed and slept with my body curled up. My stomach kept bothering me last night, and I felt nauseous in my throat. I wanted to throw up, but could only retch. A few more hours passed, and I felt even worse. I felt groggy, like I had a layer of oil over my brain, and my entire body felt sluggish. Something really strange was happening to my body. My chest felt like it was burning, but my limbs were cold. Rolling up my sleeves, I touched my bare arms and felt as if there was an invisible garment draped over them. I used my nails to scratch at the clothing on my arms, but nothing came off, only leaving behind white marks. I felt like a snake, a quiet snake on the verge of death. I couldn't shed my skin, and I had to endure the torment of alternating hot and cold sensations. I was probably going to die soon.
今天我们喝点稀粥，不然要饿死了。
还能吃几次
？3次。
那我们之后吃什么呀？
咱家门口还有一片树林，坡上还长了一些草，可以吃树皮和野草。
I mean, okay, there's no nutritional value. Hold on. Okay. All right, tree bark and wild grass. Obviously, like, anything consumed is, like, gonna give calories. Right? But there's no nutritional value to it, and I'm fairly certain you're probably, like, none of that is, like, retained. Right? In like, none of that actually gets digested. So, like, does that at all stave off hunger? Or is that still just gonna kill you just as fast? Like, that's not gonna change anything. Like, I genuinely do not know.
娘，不能吃树皮。奶奶以前和我说过，树皮很硬，进了肚子后会拉不出来，得用手去抠。
Oh, did not need that imagery.
不用抠，吃树皮是要先弄一下的。我会把树皮煮熟了，捣碎了，再喂你和彩儿吃。煮了的树皮能煮出甜味儿，其实还挺好吃的。
Silently, I listened to Mom talk. I wasn't sure where Mom learned all of this. Could it be that she also had to go through some hard times when she was little? Since Mom could survive back then, I can too. After talking to me, Mom started to make porridge for us. The rice container was pretty much empty, and there wasn't much water left in the water tank. Mom scooped a bowl of water and put it in the pot, then grabbed a handful of rice and sprinkled it in evenly. I crouched by the pot, watching the rice slowly sink to the bottom, resembling pieces of meat. I wanted to eat it so bad. However, it's definitely still going to be a while till I can have some. Mom still had to cook it for a little while. Plus, even after it's ready, she would always let my brother eat first. Lately, my brother hasn't been talking much. Half a month after Dad left, my brother got sick again. He had a really bad fever, even worse than before. Mom was very worried and kept feeding my brother porridge. Even peeled off the last of the cabbage and added it to the porridge for him. After having porridge for a few days, my brother's fever finally subsided. But after that, he became a mute and couldn't talk anymore.
娘，你说爹爹为啥这么久都没回来？
还能有啥？要么是跑了，要么是死了。
I asked Mom, and she casually answered me as she threw firewood into the stove. I didn't believe that Dad ran away. There's no way that Dad would have left us behind. He promised. He either got lost and couldn't find his way home, or something happened to him.
娘，前2天我去村里看了一趟，村里的其他人都跑走了。
I talked to Mom again when she was making porridge.
穗儿，你又出去了。
Well, Mom, what do you want me to do? We're dying here.
不是说了不让你乱跑吗？你就不怕别人捉了吃？
娘，其他人都跑走了，村里没人了，不会有人吃我的。爹爹要是一直不回来，我们要一直在家里等吗？
等吧，都等了他那么久了，也不差这几天。
我们不逃吗？
不逃。
Mom replied to me in a low voice. Actually, I could sort of guess why Mom didn't want to go out. My brother was sick and couldn't walk on his own. Fleeing with my little brother wouldn't be easy, nor could we leave him behind. Besides, Dad had mentioned the presence of tigers, bandits, and even evil spirits in the distant mountains. If Dad had been here to protect us, we would have dared to venture out. But with Dad gone, Mom wouldn't dare to flee with us alone. The porridge was ready. Mom fed my younger brother the porridge. My brother didn't make any noise. He ate the porridge with his eyes closed. If his mouth weren't opening and closing, I would have thought something was wrong with him. After my brother finished the bowl of porridge, Mom started to pack things up as if she was going to head out.
娘，你要出去吗？
趁着刚喝了粥，还有些力气，我去刮一些树皮。
Mom said calmly. She grabbed a knife, put on a straw hat, and was about to head out.
我也想跟你一起去。
你干嘛出去？在家看着弟弟？
不行，我怕你和爹爹一样不回来了。
Oh, fuck. Oh, no.
娘，让我跟你一起吧。
行，那我们一起出门。我背着弟弟，你给我多搭把手。
Mom hesitated for a short while, but still agreed to my request. Mom handed me the knife used to cut tree bark. She then put my brother in a bundle and strapped the bundle to her back. My brother still slept with his eyes closed, not moving a muscle. Mom carried my little brother on her back, stooping slightly. With one hand tightly gripping the rope that connected her to my brother, and the other hand holding mine, the three of us headed out together. Mom and I looked around for a while and found a grove of trees near our home. Oh, I gotta sneeze. No, I don't want to sneeze. Surprisingly, these woods differed from what I had seen 2 days ago. The trees in the woods had no bark left. Every tree, wherever people could reach, was bare. It looked like people who had been stripped of their clothes halfway, with their upper bodies still clothed, but their lower bodies completely bare. The trees have their peepees out.
怎么会这样？
I stared blankly at the woods in front of me, unable to believe what I was seeing.
穗儿，你不是说其他人都逃走了吗？
我也不知道，可能还有人没逃。娘，他们没有逃，先我们一步，把树皮都刮走了。
I started to panic.
穗儿，你先抱着弟弟回去。
As Mom spoke, she untied the rope holding my brother. She then handed me the bundle containing my
弟
brother.
弟有点重，我抱着他走不动。
I took my brother from Mom, but nearly stumbled when I held him in my arms. I was very weak, and holding my brother was already quite a challenge for me. Walking back would be far too
那
difficult.
就背着，你背过身去，我把他系在你背上，你背他回去。
As Mom spoke, she moved behind me and tied my brother to my back. Instantly, my back felt heavy, stooped, just like Mom's had been moments before. So heavy. Carrying my brother was a lot harder than it had seemed when Mom was doing it. Felt like my brother was too heavy, almost too much for me to carry.
娘，你为什么不跟
Mom's
我
dead.
们一起回去？
She's dead. She's dead. I asked Mom as I struggled to carry my brother.
我再去找找野草，野草的根有甜味，也可以吃。粥快喝完了，咱们必须备点吃的，免得饿死。
可是，要是娘也……
Mom paused briefly. She knew what I was trying to say. She knew I was worried that she wouldn't come back just like Dad.
穗儿，我要是今天不回来，你们就把剩下的那点粥吃完，然后出门向南走。之后，你带着弟弟
见到老人家就叫爷爷奶奶，见到年轻的就叫伯伯姨姨。每次见到人都不断磕头，求别人救你们一把，多讨点吃的，和弟弟一起活下来。
Mom advised slowly, and I
一
nodded.
会儿到家后，一定要关上门，拉好门栓，除非是我来，不然谁也不能开门。
Mom continued to give me instructions. I understood what she meant and also why Mom wanted us to go back first. The woods around us seemed to have had visitors these past 2 days. Whoever just finished eating the tree bark might be lurking nearby. They were really dangerous. Mom needed to be cautious, and so did I. I carried my brother on my back. Step by step, I headed toward home. My brother was really heavy, especially for me. I felt dizzy with each step I took. I was almost out of strength. As I walked with my brother on my back, for some reason I suddenly remembered a story Grandma used to tell. The story was called Kuafu, Chasing the Sun. Many years ago there was a giant called Kuafu. Many of his people had died from the scorching sun, so Kuafu wanted to go after the sun, catch it, and then make it obey commands. His people tried to dissuade him. Some said he would be roasted to death by the sun, while others said he would be exhausted to death, urging him not to go. But Kuafu didn't listen. He still went after the sun. In the end, he ran and drank up the rivers along the way, but still couldn't catch up with the sun. He later died of thirst on the road. I'm not sure why I recalled the story all of a sudden. I just felt that Dad was like Kuafu if he didn't come back. And if Mom didn't come back, she would be like Kuafu as well. And if I died of exhaustion on the way back home with my brother on my back, I would fall like Kuafu did too.
快到家了，弟弟。最后这段路，你能不能自己下来走啊？
I could already see our house from afar, but I was almost out of strength. Days of hunger had left me dizzy. I could see little stars blinking every time I opened or closed my eyes. I crouched on the ground, slowly undoing the rope and letting my brother down from my back. I placed him in front of me. My brother was still asleep and not moving at all. Is his chest moving? Is he breathing?
姐姐好累啊，实在是背不动了。
I heaved out a long sigh.
姐，
I heard my brother. Okay, he's alive! But I felt strange. I heard his voice, but somehow I felt like I didn't.
你怎么说话了？
Feeling confused, I asked my brother.
姐姐，我好饿。
My brother whispered to me, his voice ringing in my head.
饿了别担心，娘一会儿就给我们找野菜根啦。野菜根是甜的，很好吃，吃了就不饿了。
姐姐，
Oh no. Oh no.
好冷。
My brother spoke again. He said this exact sentence a month or so ago when Dad hadn't left yet. I felt even more uneasy. My heart was racing. This sentence sounded so much like one from a month ago. Everything about it, from the tone of voice to the way it was said, was exactly the same. I reached over and put my hand over my brother's forehead. His forehead wasn't hot. It was cold.
弟弟，
I froze and started panicking a bit. I thought I made a mistake. I reached over and touched him again. He was cold. He was still cold.
弟弟，
Oh, is he fucking dead? With a trembling voice, I called out to him while I reached over to gently touch his hands, legs, and chest. Ugh, I don't like that music. Cold. They were all cold.
弟弟，弟弟！
I cried out in shock and used my fingers to pry open his tightly shut eyes. His pupils had already dilated. They were dark without any sparkle. My head hurt a lot. The sudden chill made my entire body tremble. It occurred to me that starting from yesterday, I hadn't seen my brother move at all. He's been dead! When Mom fed him porridge, he didn't actually open his mouth when the spoon approached. Instead, Mom used the wooden spoon to pry his mouth open and forcefully shove it in. Mom managed to feed him a lot of porridge, most of which ended up in his stomach, but some dribbled down from the corners of his mouth and he still didn't react at all. Hungry. We were too hungry. Mom and I were too hungry and we were already hallucinating. No wonder. My brother was already long dead. He died long before we knew it. No. Are they saying he's been dead since Dad left? That's so fucked up. That's so fucked up. That's so fucked up. That's so fucked. Mom returned home at night. She found very few wild grass roots because most of the wild grass had already been pulled by others and eaten. She looked lost, clutching a tattered cloth bundle and found me sobbing while holding my brother. I cried as I told her about my brother's death. Upon hearing this, she trembled, staring blankly ahead. The ragged cloth bundle containing the wild grass slipped from her fingers and all fell to the ground with a soft thud. And after that, Mom didn't say anything at all. She simply walked to the side of the bed and lifted my brother up, whose body was cold. She rocked him back and forth, softly singing a song I couldn't understand. I had a dream. In my dream, I saw Grandma and my little brother. They were still standing in the clouds while looking at me from afar without saying a word. Suddenly, my brother extended his arm while holding a fist, getting me to check out the thing in his palm with a smile on his face. I walked over step by step to check it out. My brother's fingers slowly opened, revealing the treasure he had been hiding in his palm. In his hand was a piece of meat. A cooked, delicious smelling piece of meat. Oh no. In the middle of the night, I was woken up by the delicious smell of meat. I wasn't dreaming at all. It really did smell like meat. The smell drifted over from nearby right into my nostrils. My stomach lurched and growled. I was almost out of strength. My body felt as light as a kite. But when I smelled that smell, my entire body seemed to be filled with something, and it suddenly felt heavier. It smells so good. Meat smells so good. I licked my upper lip and immediately sat up straight. I then opened my eyes and looked toward the source of the smell of meat. It turned out Mom was cooking meat. Is it little bro? It's little bro, isn't it? Mom had a pot set up while she squatted down next to it. She was humming a song while cooking meat. It's little bro. It's little bro. That's why she wasn't at all. The flames were gently flickering in the darkness of night. She threw my brother's tattered clothes into the fire, fanning the flame. Oh no, oh no, oh no. Oh no, oh no, oh no. Mom's gone fucking crazy. The soup in the pot boiled and the smell of meat wafted through the air. I walked toward Mom, feeling confused. I didn't know where she got the meat from. I don't like that face, man. I don't like that face, man. She tilted her head, looked at me with a blank stare, and called out my brother's name.
彩儿，你来啦！我刚才抓了一只小猪仔，煮给你吃。快煮好了。
It's little bro.
娘，我是穗儿。
穗儿，穗儿，你快去找彩儿，让她尝尝我做的肉汤。话说，我刚才做梦，梦到了你姥姥，她劝我回娘家。我啊，说我不能回，因为我答应了你爹，一定要照顾好你们。你姥姥知道我要留下来，就不劝我了。她带我见了个土地老爷，让我给土地老爷磕了好几个头。哎，土地爷真好，他送了我一只小猪仔。那小猪仔白白胖胖的，一看就能吃好久。穗儿，你猜怎么着？我本来以为那只小猪仔只是在梦里有，没想到醒了后竟能把它从梦里带出来。所以啊，我就把剩下的水都下锅了，要把那小猪仔煮给你们吃。彩儿先吃一块猪腿，穗儿再吃，先给你们吃就好，娘最后再吃。
Mom spoke to me nonstop as she stood there, seemingly rooted to the spot. I slowly walked to the pot and looked at the soup with its meat emanating a savory scent. Then the faint mist dissipated, slowly revealing the shape of the boiling meat. When I noticed the shape of the meat, my eyes immediately widened. A cold despair surged up from my spine and swallowed me in an instant. I was going to scream at first, but it was as if something was strangling me and I couldn't make a sound. Mom had gone mad. Actually, I wanted to go mad like her, too, and look at this meat soup as if it were cooked with a piglet. But I couldn't. The meat in the pot had a sour smell similar to the meat of the kitten cooked months ago. It smelled nothing like pork at all. And as it bobbed up and down in the boiling pot, I could make out its shape little by little. Despite being swollen and distorted from cooking, I could still recognize him.
娘，你煮的不是猪崽子，这是弟弟呀！
I screamed in horror, my voice instantly filling the cold room. When Mom heard what I said, her body trembled violently at first, and then her smile froze. She slowly stretched out her hand and reached into the boiling pot. She grabbed my brother's hand in the pot and quickly pulled back her hand before falling backwards to the ground. Mom didn't move at all, like a clay sculpture. I crouched down and stared blankly at Mom. I didn't cry this time. We didn't talk. After a long while, I suddenly heard Mom's heart-wrenching scream.
碎，快说，你是怎么弄死弟弟的？咱儿一直都是好好的，怎么跟你回家里头他就死了？你杀了弟弟，你杀了弟弟！啊！
Mom pressed me onto the ground and started choking me as if she wanted me dead.
不是我杀的弟弟，弟弟喝粥的时候就死了。
你撒谎，就是你掐死的你弟弟，撒谎！穗儿，我怎么养了你这个不孝女？你让咱家都断子绝孙了！我怎么跟你爹交代？怎么跟你奶奶交代？说，你说啊！
Mom kept on crying while choking me. She was choking me so hard I could barely breathe.
这不是我杀的弟弟，求你别杀我，我可以给你画草根、画种子。你在家躺着就行，我去找吃的。我会孝顺，我不会让你饿死。求求你别杀我！
I cried and begged my mother while I thrashed my body about. When she saw me crying and begging her, she instantly started panicking. Confusion, pain, guilt, fear, sadness. I saw a range of emotions flash through my mother's eyes. When the emotions faded, Mom seemed to be sane again. The sad emotion in her eyes made me feel like she was finally back to her old self. She let go of me and stood there like a puppet. She then took 2 steps back and sat back down on the ground again. After she sat on the ground, she curled her body up. She wrapped her arms around her knees like a little girl, buried her head in them, and then stopped moving. She seemed to be crying and laughing at the same time. She wasn't paying attention to me for now. Seeing my mother like this and realizing that she didn't seem to want to kill me anymore, I staggered to my feet. I didn't have time to wipe my tears before I hurriedly ran out of the house. I headed out trying to find something to eat for Mom. She wasn't going to kill me for now, but there was no telling when she'd try to choke me to death again. Mom had gone mad. She really had. My brother was dead, and that made her go mad. And after she went mad, she even blamed everything on me and wanted to kill me. Her love for me wasn't even half what she had for my brother. Oh, probably not even 1/10 of it. If I died, she definitely would have cooked me instantly had my brother eaten my flesh. Bad mom, bad mom. With this thought, I felt aggrieved and bitter in my heart. As I walked, I absent-mindedly kicked at the dirt along the roadside. I mentally cursed my mom as I cried. The tears didn't fall, but I knew I was crying. I was the one who was born first. I was the one who knew Mom longer. Why did she treat me like that? Dad wouldn't be so biased towards my brother. Even though my brother could carry on the family name and take the imperial exams, he wouldn't treat me like distressed goods. He wouldn't want to kill me for my brother. As if I wasn't even my mom's kid. As if she didn't carry me in her womb for 10 months and gave birth to me. It was more like she adopted me from somewhere. I hate Mom. I hate how she was unfair to me. I hate how she loved my brother more. She didn't love me at all. I felt aggrieved and cried, but tears wouldn't come. I was a bit dizzy from hunger, but I didn't stop walking. Where could I find wild grass? Where could I find wild grass? I walked around in a panic, searching for wild grass near our house. After half an hour, I still hadn't found any. No, I couldn't go home empty-handed. If I couldn't find any wild grass and Mom got mad, she might kill me. She might choke me to death and then cook me and eat my flesh. The thought of that terrified me, so I searched desperately, not daring to rest for a moment. Early the next morning, the sun rose from the other side of the mountain. I finally found some wild grass. I dragged my exhausted body back home with a bundle of grass. I was still scared before I pushed the door open. I was scared that Mom would go mad again and charge toward me to try to choke me to death. But when I pushed the door open and saw the scene inside, I stood dumbfounded at the doorway. Oh, Mom killed her. I need a fucking moment, man. Oh my god. Oh my god. We just had a sweet moment with as Liang saying goodbye to the girl, to 3 of the 4 girls. And then that sweet moment where we gave Sui some shoes, some new shoes. And now we're here. The sound of the water boiling. Mom was hanging in midair. Her shadow was very long, enveloping me in darkness and completely blocking out the morning light. With her head lowered and hair disheveled, her face remained hidden. Her hands and feet hung naturally, while the soles of her feet showed signs of bruising, and a wooden chair lay kicked aside nearby. It was hung on a rope that was swaying ever so slightly. The morning sunlight streamed through the window panes, illuminating her dirty dress. Mom looked like a dead moth caught in a spider's web. When a moth dies that way, its wings would still be spread, making it appear suspended in the air. I called out to Mom softly, kneeling before her right in her shadow. Just moments ago, I was scared of Mom. I feared she would still be insane and kill me. But now I wish she would speak to me again. The sound of a rope swaying. The sound of the water boiling. I'm all alone now. Realizing this, I numbly crouched down, then crawled forward in agony for a few more steps. I didn't know what to do. I just wanted to hide. I curled myself up and hid under Mom's shadow. Her shadow swayed back and forth while the darkness enveloped me. Mom was hanging in the house while my brother was in the pot. Grandma was buried in the backyard while Dad was nowhere to be found. And where should I go? Is that how they're... Oh my god. Oh my fucking god. Oh wait, hold on. I'm curious. How many chapters in The Hungry Lamb? Okay. After 2 days in the wagon, we finally reached Liaoyang on the third day. Liaoyang, our original destination. Originally, Tung and I were supposed to bring 4 lambs here, but things changed. I killed Tung. 3 lambs were sent away and settled. Now it's just me and Mansui. We got off the wagon at a desolate spot a few miles from Liaoyang and trekked toward the city. After about an hour, I spotted the city in the distance. Liaoyang's walls were massive, standing over 100 feet tall and giving off a sturdy, imposing vibe. The walls were made of alternating blue bricks while the gates were a striking red. At this moment, the city gate stood open with people coming and going continuously. I silently rejoiced that Liaoyang wasn't sealed off like Haijiao, saving us a lot of trouble. However, there were some changes around the city, possibly due to the rebellion. Outside the city walls stood a 10-foot-high earthen rampart, seemed newly built, likely for battle. Liaoyang is still far from the northern invaders, so it seems this construction is more about dealing with rebellions.
你们从哪儿来的？
Huazhu.
这么远，有录影吗？
All the way here on the pass? Sure, here it is. I handed the guard the pass for my package and he squinted at it for a moment.
还真是画中来的。旁边这小姑娘是你什么人？
My sister.
行，进城吧。你们兄妹俩年龄都差得大。
The guard eyed us suspiciously but decided to let us in without further ado. Holding Mansui's hand, I guided her through the Lijing gate and into Liaoyang. Why didn't we just claim her as our daughter? I feel like that would have been a little better than sister. The streets in Liaoyang were wider than any we'd been to before. We walked along a big road connecting east and west with lots of shops on both sides, including tea houses, taverns, medicine shops, and pawn shops. When we turned right at a corner, we stepped into a livelier market area. There were more people here, and we passed butcher shops, fish stalls, and all sorts of stores lining the streets. In addition to the shops, there were vendors under umbrellas in the open spaces, and people were always coming and going. Some were haggling with the vendors, some were resting under the shade, cooling off with their palm fans, and some were hauling ox carts to make deliveries. There were women buying groceries, scholars with square hats, traveling merchants, and you could even spot some caravan guards with hidden weapons.
良爷，洛阳好热闹啊！
I remember it being even busier last time, with crowds everywhere making it hard to walk. But these last few years, with all the disasters and famine, people have less money, so nowhere's as lively as before. I commented, Mansui, thinking back on the Laoang of the past. Yeah, felt like there used to be more folks around, fewer faces full of troubles.
梁爷，我们先去哪儿呢？
Let's find an inn first. Drop off our stuff, then we can explore.
好啊，
She nodded in agreement. We kept walking ahead, passing through the busy market area until we reached a quieter street. Temples and shrines lined both sides of the road. After walking east for a bit, we arrived at an inn. This inn was different from the ones in Waozhou and Shanzhou. It wasn't the usual spot for shady dealers like us. It was just a regular inn that I wasn't too familiar with. I'd heard about this place from Tung before. He mentioned that this inn in Liaoyang was usually quiet, so if our usual spots were full, we could stay here without drawing too much attention.
哎，两位客官，这是要打尖儿还是住店啊？
As we entered the inn, the waiter greeted us. Staying, 2 rooms. 1 room, please.
好嘞，开一间房，1晚是200文铜钱。
Damn! The waiter smiled instead of me pushing over a small wooden tray. I took out 200 coins from my pouch and placed them on the tray, and the waiter quickly handed me a wooden token.
楼上第3间房，您上楼直走便能看到了。
I took the wooden token from the waiter. Let's go. I gestured for Mansui to follow
梁
me.
爷等一会儿，我想问小二爷一个问题。
Suddenly, Mansui stopped me. She approached the waiter's counter and popped her head up.
哦，小客官想问什么？
The innkeeper looked at Mansui, a smile forming on his face. He seemed amused by being called Mr. Waiter.
小二爷，我们若是从外地来的，想逛一逛洛阳，有什么可逛的呀？
这位小客官，你可问对人了。我是土生土长的洛阳人，对这儿可太了解了。哎，您若是喜欢花，可以去城西南的花园看花；若是喜欢河呀，可以去东边的禅河转转；若是喜欢凑热闹，就在丽景门附近逛逛，那边呀有很多集市店铺。哎呀，突然想起来，你们来得巧了，今天是特殊的日子，晚上有庙会。
Temple Fair?
听说王爷要庆祝喜事，特别允许这几天开夜市。这次夜市啊，听说不仅会请戏班子唱戏，还会放烟火呢。
We fell silent. We ignored the waiter's talk of the Temple Fair and night market, the fireworks and theater performances. Our focus was on the one behind it all. Yeah, the Lord, the one running the fair. He was the swine demon.
梁爷，屯妖为什么要办庙会？
I guess it's for his birthday celebration. You lot, those lambs were originally meant as offerings for his birthday. But you never know. It could also be some other happy occasion that's got him in the mood to share the joy with the people. Those rich and noble ones, they've always been whipping up whatever happy events, who knows. I chuckled lightly, mocking the vast differences between people's lives.
梁爷，你说屯妖会来逛庙会吗？
Nah, he's too full of himself and too cautious. Doubt he'll bother. And even if he does, there isn't much you can do. When the swine demon moves, he's always got tough guards around him. I can't handle them, let alone you. Didn't I tell you already? Forget about seeking revenge. You're not dealing with some small-time landlord, it's the powerful swine demon lord. You trying to go after him, it won't work out, just throwing your life away. I threw in a word to Mansui again. After that, we fell silent. We wandered the streets for a while, aimlessly just walking around. If you want to go, we'll check out the Temple Fair tonight. I'm not up for anything else today. Got any places in mind you want to see? After a while, I asked her. We had a couple of hours until sunset and the Temple Fair's beginning, so we'd need to find somewhere to kill the
我想
time.
去屯妖的王府前转转。
She looked at me with a wink, making the suggestion. You're still not giving up revenge, huh? Trying to case the joint? I frowned, giving her a glare. How stubborn can this lass be?
不是，其实考虑过后，我觉得梁爷说的有道理。我身体弱，又势单力薄，根本刺不了屯妖。最近，家人也不在梦里对我说话了。我可以不复仇了，只是我还是有些好奇，想去屯妖住的地方看看，亲眼看看我的仇人住的咋样。
The lass bowed her head, mumbling to me. Looked like she wrestled with herself before speaking up. That's fine. Giving up revenge is fine. I'll take her to see then. Alright, good that you figured out not to seek revenge, but you're quite gutsy. Wasn't it him who took your sister before? Always likes your type. Aren't you afraid his men might spot you and take you back to his palace?
不怕，有良爷护着我，所以我不怕。
Mansui looked up, smiling at me. Her words warmed my heart. Okay, I'll take you, but you hold my hand the whole way there. I sighed, planning to show her around outside the swine demon's palace. While in the capital, I glimpsed the imperial palace. Swine demon's mansion, almost a match for it. Extending from Town Front Street in the east to Cross Street in the west, from the Courthouse Temple in the north to the Lotus Temple in the south. The walls, half as tall as Lao Yang's city walls, enclosing it like an iron fortress. Its gate, a vermilion entrance flanked by 2 stone lions. One lion male, the other female, carved from white marble, standing tall and fierce. Those lions, crafted so fine they'll keep their color for ages.
他住的房子真气派呀。
Mansui held my hand, gazing at the stone lions by the entrance. Yeah, it's almost as impressive as the imperial palace in the capital.
良爷，你说他有多少粮食？
Not sure, but I've heard he owns half the fields in the Central Plains, with his people also collecting grain from nearby Shan and Jin. I replied casually. Let's finish up and move on. We can check out other places later. I called Mansui and took her hand, walking away. This place felt heavy. Just standing at the gate, I could imagine the fun he had inside those tall walls and the kids he slaughtered. I didn't want to stick around. As dusk approached, Mansui and I wandered aimlessly around. We visited some temples in the Drum Tower. As we explored more of Liaoyang, the streets grew emptier and our destinations more remote. Our conversations faded as we walked. But the streets started bustling again. People were heading west and we followed the crowd. The sun set behind the city walls, and we transitioned from daylight to dusk and finally into the night. The market to the west lit up with lanterns. Vendors set up their stalls, actors put up their stages. We walked around a bit more. Vendors hawked their goods, actors performed on stage. Down below, merchants sold fabrics, makeup, iron tools. On stage, actors' faces were painted white, red, and black. People bustled about, chatting, pausing, buying goods, watching plays. Most people at the fair came with their kin and pals, all cozy and close. They strolled hand in hand, chatting and laughing like peas in a pod. But Mansui and I were also hand in hand. There was a gap between us and them. Their merry chatter seemed far away, like it was on one side of the lantern light while we were on the other. We're rootless wanderers. In such a lively place, we seemed like strangers, out of place. And so, without a word, we veered away from the hubbub into the quiet. As we walked on, the din faded into the buzz of insects, a solitary sound. We walked from the temple fair in the west to the Chan River in the east. Mansui crouched by the river, dipping her hand in the cold water. The breeze blew past and the fallen petals rustled down, then drifted along the dark river. The petals spun like boats set adrift. She reached out her hand, her fingers wandering in the water, and the boat slipped through the gaps in her fingers and drifted off further down the river. She watched the petals drifting into the distance, lost in thought. Were you playing in the water? After watching her for a while, unable to figure out what she was doing, I awkwardly started a conversation.
在想爹爹。
You used to think about your sister the most, didn't you? How come you're thinking about your dad now?
到洛阳后，便开始想爹爹了。
I asked, she answered. I wondered if it's just my imagination. Since arriving Liaoyang, this last seemed to have had something on her mind, becoming much quieter. Could it be that she's disappointed with Liaoyang? Before coming here, she thought Liaoyang was bustling. But now that she's here, she seemed to think that this big city wasn't all that. And even though the temple fair was lively, she felt out of place.
良爷，我想问你一件事。
Just as I was guessing her thoughts, she suddenly asked me. Yes?
倘若你的仇人有一天变好了，不再杀人，彻底成好人了，
I fucking knew it. I fucking knew it. We were always her target. We've been her target. We had to have been. We had to have been. We had to have been. The entire time we've been her target. But hold on. Let me make some guesses because I'm sure a bunch of shit is probably going to get revealed. We're her target. We killed her dad. She must have witnessed us kill her dad. And then at some point, maybe... But, like, the sister part is what doesn't make sense. Because we've never trafficked before. And we don't... He said we don't kill the women. Or whatever. Though, by extension of our actions with killing the men, we probably do end up killing the women in this society. Indirectly. Though you could probably make an argument that it is still a pretty direct murder. She's got to have been planning to kill us in Liaoyang or something. That's my guess anyway.
若是这样的话，你觉得自己还该复仇吗？
Mansui didn't look at me. She dipped her hand in the river and asked me quietly. That's what the lass was thinking about. Kids always seeing things so simply. So the swine demon threw a temple fair today. Shared a quick good time with the people, and now she doesn't see him as an enemy anymore. Oh, we're so oblivious. Liang is so oblivious. Bad guys stay bad. It's hard to change. Even if that swine demon is throwing a temple fair today, seeing people laughing and joking around doesn't mean he's a good person. After all, there are more people he's killed, more families he's ruined. All stuff you aren't seeing here. Plus, even if a bad guy turns over a new leaf, they can't just wipe away their past crimes. If it were me, no matter how much my enemy changed, I'd still go after them for revenge. I spoke to Mansui slowly, one word at a time. This time I, who usually didn't say much, told her a lot. These words were probably all my thoughts. For many years, I'd pondered the same question. If my parents didn't die from a natural disaster, but because of someone's wrongdoing, would I seek revenge? I think I probably would. If my enemy was a specific person, not just an act of heaven, I'd have a clear target thinking all day about killing them. Then I wouldn't have been haunted by the nightmare of that day for so many years, fearing it repeatedly, even scared of the sight of fire. Oh, speaking of fire, didn't the waiter say there would be fireworks over Liaoyang tonight? How come we haven't seen them yet? Getting late now. Surprised they haven't lit up the sky with fireworks yet. Let's head back to the inn. Curfew hits soon. Time to call it a night. I told Mansui. She nodded, stood up, and reached out her hand, waiting to hold mine.
向前。
Just then, a voice rang out behind us. I glanced at the noise's source. 2 raggedy beggars stood near the dark river bank. They wore shabby clothes, their faces grimy with coal dust. Both had crooked teeth in their half-open mouths. One brandished a notched cleaver, the other a wooden stick. One had a squint, the other blinked frequently. Skinny and short, they didn't seem too tough as robbers.
愣着干啥？没听见 M 夫要抢钱吗？快给啊！对，哥说的对，不给钱，给吃的也成。
You mugging in the city? Aren't you scared I'll fetch the soldiers? I gave them a scornful look. These scrawny two didn't seem to grasp their situation. I might even have to unsheath my blade. Might as well have a chat, see what they're all about.
立足？你找不到的。现在立足都在庙会，这附近哪有立足啊？对，找不到。他们懒，报案也不管。
I'm a horrible person. I should not be laughing at a stutter. The 2 beggars moved closer to me, looking tough. What if I say no?
俺们人多，不想让你女儿看你挨打，就掏钱掏吃的。
The squinting beggar raised his voice, almost shouting at me. Only 2 of you and you call it a crowd? I sneered again.
妈的，真是欠世道！弟，俺们上！
The squinting beggar, fed up with my teasing, finally got mad. He lunged at me with his battered knife while the other one hesitated for a moment before also charging at me from the side. I scoffed. Stepping back with my left foot, I opened up some space. The squinting beggar, unable to stop in time, rushed past me. I lifted my foot and kicked him in the rear with a quick motion. Ah! Oh, already out. My kick knocked him off balance, sending him tumbling to the ground in a heap.
不许打俺哥！
The stuttering beggar tightened his expression and charged towards me from the side. Despite holding a stick moments ago, he now dropped it on the ground and attempted to reach out to grab me. I raised my hand, holding the sheath of my blade. First, I dodged his lunge, then I tapped him on the back with the sheath. With a thud, he also fell to the ground, collapsing alongside his brother. The 2 of them lay piled on top of each other, one clutching his rear, the other his back, grimacing and groaning. Seriously, you 2 think you can rob with those moves? I scoffed, my foot pressing down on the fallen duo.
好汉，俺们不敢了，再也不敢了。 是俺们错了，放了俺们吧。
The 2 beggars huddled together, cowering. I wonder how they even had the guts to attempt a robbery with such cowardly behavior. Say sorry and you're off? Not happening. If the soldier's busy at the temple fair, no one around. If I kill you here, who will know? I sneered, and I pretended to reach for my blade as I talked. Honestly, it was obvious these two were not to kill me from the get-go, so I wasn't planning to off them either. But maybe it was time to scare them, teach them a lesson.
别杀我叔叔！别杀我爹爹！
Out of nowhere, I heard a girl crying out. I halted my blade, turning to see who it was. A young girl appeared from the shadow of the nearby trees. She seemed about the same age as Svier, maybe 5 or 6 years old. This girl was thin, with half her face smeared with soot, her hair all messy. She wore a patched-up coarse hemp garment, but her eyes were strikingly clear. She stared at me with big, round eyes, a mix of fear, anger, and frustration evident in her gaze.
你踩着我爹爹和叔叔了！我打你，打你！
She grabbed the stick her uncle left behind and swung it at my leg, but her lack of strength only made it flop against my leg harmlessly like a drunk tottering around. I kept quiet, watching her with a stern face. She swung the stick clumsily, crying. Tears rolled down her dirty, coal-stained cheeks like little Jesus. Like little pearls.
你不打，不打，好汉！好汉饶命，饶命！妮儿不懂事儿，别跟他一般见识。
The squinting beggar, seeing his daughter hitting me repeatedly, seemed worried that I might retaliate against the girl and started pleading with me. Seeing them in this state, I felt a strange sense of guilt. As if I were the robber and they were the ones being robbed.
王爷，
Ansui stood nearby, signaling with her eyes. She probably hoped I'd let these beggars go. Seeing these two foolish beggars with a little girl to care for, my anger faded and I felt like I could let them go. But is it just about letting them go? Is there something else I need to do? Stop it. I spoke up to stop the girl, and at the same time I stopped stepping on the beggars lying on the ground. I'm not going to kill your dad and uncle, so you don't need to hit me either. I grabbed the girl's stick and said to her. The girl stopped hitting me. She dropped the stick and looked at me, all sad. Like I was the one who'd been whacking her with
你
it.
真不杀他们？
Nope, I said it. I stick to it, I said quietly. Meanwhile, I reached out to help the two beggars lying on the ground. Get up. Why were you trying to robbing anyway? I asked as I helped the two beggars up. I think it's pretty obvious. The two just pulled up by me, were still a bit shaken, didn't react right away. Got hands and feet, why not work for a living? I asked again, a hint of impatience in my tone.
爷，好汉爷，俺们也想找个营生做，只是找不到啊。俺和弟弟都天生长得丑，弟弟说话还不利索。前2年光景好的时候还好找营生做，现在店铺关了那么多，没地方要俺们。俺那屋里头的，几个月前生了一场病，俺们没钱治病，他就病死了，妮儿便没了娘。这几个月，别说治病了，俺们吃饭的钱都没了，所以便讨饭吃。可这样也不是办法，现在的人都穷，讨不了多少。今天西边在搞庙会，俺们被猪油蒙了心，想着没有捕快在这附近巡夜。好汉爷呀，俺们实在是饿极了，饿昏了眼，才敢惹您这阴茬，对不住。
Squinting beggar told me his whole story. I watched the girl next to him closely, and when he talked about her mother, her eyes seemed to lose some spark. Judging by their poor robbery skills, they didn't seem like regular thieves. They must be truly starving to even think about robbing during the fair. Hungry? I asked the beggar girl.
饿很久了，肚子疼。
She whispered to me. I listened to her, reaching into my bundle. The squinting beggar beside us kept a close eye on me, his scared gaze glued to my every move. I understood his concern. He was likely afraid I'd suddenly pull out a blade and harm the girl. After searching through my bundle for a while, I found a handful of silver pieces. Silver? Damn. Here, take these silvers. 3 taels. Tomorrow, go to the market, get yourself some food. It'll keep you going for a few months.
这，俺们不好收吧？
Take it. It's not for you, it's for the girl. I fought her father and uncle right in front of her. Consider this silver as an apology. I stepped up, slid the silvers into the beggar girl's hand. She glanced down, checking out the silvers. Then she looked up, her big eyes locking onto me. I flashed a quick grin, trying to be friendly. Seeing my smile, tears filled her eyes.
谢谢。
She bit her lip, kept her head down, and took the silvers. I caught her quiet thanks, feeling a bit warmer inside. After that, Mansui and I said goodbye to the beggar family. We walked by the river, through the dark, dirty alleys of Liaoyang. Many people were in ragged clothes, wrapped up in hay, sleeping on the side of the road. They were sprawled out or curled up, some even lying face down, not making a peep. Most of them were alone, but a few were huddled with their families, keeping warm together. They seemed more likely to be alive and sleeping than the others. It was hard to tell if they were asleep or dead. If they were asleep, they might not be far from death. If they were dead, at least they were resting peacefully. The Vermilion Gate reeks of meat and wine. By the roadside, the starved and frozen lie. I heard the saying somewhere. Now, thinking about it, it fits Liaoyang to a T. In the city, some get more grain than they can gobble, and they are so stuffed that they turn to eating little girls alive. Yet others go hungry, starving to death right on the streets. Is this the intended way of the world? After all the disasters, the rich get richer, the poor get poorer. Is this how the world is supposed to be? I reckon I've really changed. A few months back, I wouldn't even think twice about this. Back then, in this world of chaos, all I cared about was staying alive. I'd do whatever it took to survive, even if it meant sacrificing others. Except for not killing women or kids, I had almost no limits. But now, after killing Tung and settling those little girls, it's tough for me to go back to the killing trade. Whenever it comes to killing someone, maybe I'll feel a twinge of mercy. Because, the ones I off might be somebody's father or son. What made me change? Was it this journey of a mere month? Was it those lambs? Was it shadow play? Or was it her? I couldn't help glancing over at Mansui beside me. Hey, laugh, I called out. She kept walking quietly, lost in her own world.
怎么了，良爷？
She raised her eyes, looking at me with confusion. I don't know why. Maybe it's just me, but it seemed like her eyes were red. Was this lass thinking about something? Thought about it. I'm not selling you, I said to her, each word deliberate.
不卖我了。
She seemed to struggle to believe what I was saying. She tilted her head slightly, looking at me with confusion. Yeah, not selling you. Thought about it. Selling you won't fetch much. How about this? You stick with me from now on. We head south together till we get to... BAM! All of a sudden, I heard a huge bang. It cut me off mid-sentence. Fireworks shot up into the night sky, bursting against the black backdrop of the night. Red, yellow, and purple lights all mixed together, blooming like like chrysanthemums. My heart raced for a moment. The burst of fireworks caught me off guard. For a moment, I pictured the explosion back in the capital. Blood rain, buildings falling, countless souls lost in an instant. But it didn't last. Soon enough, I shook it off and came back to reality.
不行的。
Just as I was caught off guard by the sound of Mansui suddenly spoke up. Oh, that's probably her response to my earlier idea. I suggested to her that I wouldn't sell her anymore, but instead I wanted to head south with her. Though I hadn't really figured out what to do with her after that. Would we make a living together doing shadow plays, or would I find her a good future in some prosperous southern place? I didn't know, and I was a bit lost about the future. But I didn't expect this lass to just say no outright. Why not? I asked, taken aback. Bang. She was about to talk when another firework popped in the night sky. The noise from them fireworks was so loud it drowned out her words. Damn annoying. I felt a bit irritated towards these fireworks. I've been waiting for so long. What did you say just now? I raised my voice, asking her loud and clear. She turned and looked at me.
良爷，我要先去解个手，你在这里等我一下。
No. Better not run off. I swear to God, if after all this she runs off, I swear if I somehow had made one wrong choice in this whole fucking branching story that costs me this shit, I'm gonna be so upset. She lifted her head and spoke slowly. At this hour? Alright, hurry up. I glanced around, unsure where the outhouse was, but she probably wouldn't mind. Another firework burst into the sky. The fireworks painted the whole of Liaoyang in dazzling colors, truly beautiful. But the loud noise made it impossible to talk normally. Annoying. I got some things to say. I'll chat with her later. After I agreed to let her go pee, Mansui bolted off. Funny thing, worrying about not getting to talk to her made me realize I wasn't afraid of fireworks anymore. The images of that big explosion from years ago, which had briefly flashed in my mind just now, didn't come back. It was like I'd finally shaken off that old nightmare. Dude, go find Mansui. After waiting a bit longer, memories of what happened about 20 days ago crept into my mind. That day, we just left Wanzhou and were wandering around Mount Huashan. That night, she said she needed to go pee too. I turned away and she tried to stab me with a dagger. That lass could be ruthless. She was kind to those little girls and even showed pity to the beggars we just encountered. So why was she so quick to try and kill me? Oh, we're gonna start connecting the dots. Why is it taking so long? About an incense sticks of time had passed. The fireworks ended, but Mansui still hadn't come back. Puzzled, I'd stepped out onto the street. Lass? I walked out of the alley, crossed the river, and arrived at the dense bushes. She wasn't there. Didn't seem like she went to pee here. Dude, please. Please. Mansui? I pushed through the bushes, past a few houses, and checked a couple of outhouses. Still no sign of her. Where are you? I went back the way we came, looking around as I went. Still couldn't find her. She's gone. Really gone. Just like when the fireworks went off, she tricked me again. That ass acted like she needed to pee, then vanished. Fell for it again. This time she didn't try to stab me. She just disappeared into the Liaoyang fireworks. I swear to God, dude. I swear to fucking God, dude.
穗儿，穗儿，
Amidst the darkness, I heard Mom's voice. I opened my eyes. Mom was leaning against my bed while grabbing my sweaty arms. She furrowed her brows with a worried look. I had a nightmare. Because of the dream I just had, I woke up drenched in cold sweat and my head was buzzing. I reached out and touched my face, feeling 2 streaks of tears on it. I must have cried in my sleep.
穗儿，睡得好好的，你怎么就哭了？
Hold on! Are they about to frame this that Suier had this was Liang was a whole nightmare? No, that wouldn't seem right. No. No, that's not. That would be fucked up. That would be real fucked up to have it be a dream the whole time. I would be so pissed.
我刚才做了一个噩梦。
噩梦？
I recounted the dream I just had to my mother, my voice trembling and choked with sobs. The dream was really scary. In the dream, our family experienced a great calamity and none of us had anything. God, I swear. Dad went somewhere far to sell the family heirloom in exchange for some food, but he never came back. And sometime after that, my younger brother died. Mom went mad as well and cooked my brother's flesh. I thought Mom was going to kill me, so I went out to find some wild grass for her to eat. When I returned, I found out Mom had hung herself.
不要再说了，穗儿，怎么能说这么不吉利的事儿？一会儿你爹回家听到了，可要揍你。
I described my dream to Mom, and the more she listened, the angrier she got. She thought the dream I described was ominous and made a gesture as if she was going to hit me.
爹爹什么时候回来呀？
I squinted my eyes while I dodged Mom's fake move and asked about Dad. I really wanted to see Dad. I was worried that something might happen to him like it did in my dream.
Sir!
At this moment, I suddenly heard my dad shout. Dad stepped into the door carrying a huge bag on his back and a warm smile on his face.
爹爹！
I immediately got out of bed, dashed over and hugged Dad's thigh.
哎，穗儿乖啊，爹爹回来了。
Dad smiled and stroked my head.
怎么，你把传家宝卖了吗？卖了多少钱？
Mom asked Dad somewhat eagerly, wanting to know how much he sold the family heirloom for.
没卖，
Dad gave her a hearty laugh.
为什么没卖？
因为这个传家宝是无价之宝，有了它，我们一直都能吃饱，肯定不能卖啊。
Dad spoke with a smile, joyfully glancing at the bag behind him. He put the bag on the bed and took the family heirloom out from it. The family heirloom was a piece of grayish-white meat with concentric ring patterns on it. It wriggled slowly as if it was alive.
贵儿，你总算发现传家宝的妙用了。
Grandma suddenly popped up out of nowhere, praising Dad in a mysterious manner.
爹爹，为什么这个能让我们一直吃饱呀？
My brother also asked Dad curiously as he held onto my dad's other thigh. Grandma and my brother appeared all of a sudden. Oh no, we are in a dream. This is the dream. Okay. I wasn't sure where they were hiding before. I actually didn't see them at all.
哎呀，说来话长了。其实啊，我本来是打算把这传家宝卖了，可出去的第一天晚上，我抱他睡的时候，
听到了神仙的声音。神仙说，这传家宝是他钓的神仙肉，他心善，想要救咱们家，便教给我用这肉的方法。他说，把这肉泡在水里煮，它就会越煮越多，吃多少长多少，根本吃不完的。
Dad excitedly shared with us, his eyes gleaming with joy.
这么好的事，哎，那我们快煮了这肉啊！穗儿，你去劈柴。
When she heard it, Mom also shared Dad's joy. She quickly urged me to go chop some wood. Seeing them like that, I also felt overjoyed. However, I was also a bit worried. Even if the deity allowed us to eat its meat, is it still fine to eat it? Nothing would happen to us, right? What exactly does deity meat taste like? With a curious mindset, I gathered dry firewood in a corner of the house.
姐姐，拿这个劈。
My brother handed me a knife. This knife didn't look like it was used to chop wood. Instead, it looked like a cleaver for chopping
劈
meat.
柴的刀呢？
Oh no.
没有，只有这一把了。
My brother looked at me and smiled, revealing his canines. Sigh, he must be playing mean intentionally and making it hard for me to chop wood. That was why he gave me this cleaver instead. But whatever, I didn't want to scold him. I took the cleaver anyway. It could be used to chop wood if I exerted more force. Kerchunk. We're slicing up Mom, aren't we? We're slicing up our Swee's mom. I swung the cleaver in my hand, chopping the firewood. Every time I chopped a piece of wood, my brother would throw it into the stove. As I chopped the wood, I stole glances at Dad beside me. Dad was making a fire nearby, preparing to cook the deity meat in the pot. He chatted here and there with Mom and speculated about how the deity meat would taste. After a long while, I had worked so hard that my clothes were drenched with sweat, but I finally chopped all the wood.
爷爷，这神仙肉真的会越煮越多吗？
I threw the last piece of firewood under the pot, and then asked Dad skeptically.
当然会了，不信你过来看呐。
Dad smiled while he spoke, and he made a gesture for me to come and see. I wiped off the sweat from my forehead, threw away the cleaver, and then leaned over the pot to check it out. The pot was boiling, the broth simmering, the deity meat bobbing up and down. I kept staring at it. Initially, I didn't notice much meat, but gradually, as the deity meat was cooked, it actually multiplied into a bunch of pork. I shouted happily. I was drooling nonstop while I looked at the cooked pork.
多了，真的多了。
肉多的都冒出来了，快拿碗来盛肉。
Mom and my brother talked while gathered around the pot. Dad then grabbed a bowl to serve the meat to us.
穗儿先吃一块，彩儿再吃一块，连云吃一块，咱娘再吃一块。
Dad kept serving us meat, dividing it among the bowls. I took the bowl Dad handed me and started eating the meat. I took a bite of the meat born from the deity meat. This meat looked and smelled like pork, but it tasted a bit different. We're eating Mom and brother, aren't we? The meat was tougher, making it difficult to bite into. But I was too hungry, and it had been so long since I had meat, so I bit a huge chunk. Only after the meat went down from my stomach and I got the aftertaste of it did I realize there was a sour taste to it. So sour and so gamey. Oh, fuck. The smell of the meat born from the deity meat reminded me of the kitten's meat that we cooked at home not long. Oh, fuck. Although I didn't eat it, I remembered that smell by heart. Huh? Suddenly I heard the kitten meowing. The kitten that I once had suddenly came up to my feet and started meowing at me. She rubbed her head against me in a joyful manner, then sat down, wagged her tail, and licked her paw. Oh, I must have remembered it wrong. It turned out we actually never ate the kitten.
姐姐，煮的肉好吃吗？还行，挺好吃的。
穗儿，也来吃吃这块生肉吧。我试了一块，味道可好了，比煮熟了要好吃。
Oh, God. My brother and mother handed me pieces of meat one after another. My brother gave me cooked meat while my mother gave me raw meat. Oh no! Oh no! We're eating both of them, but Mom is still raw. Oh, I had already tried the cooked meat, and by now I think I had a bit too much of it. So I became interested in the raw meat and stared at the piece my mother had.
娘，这块肉是怎么来的？
你劈柴的时候，我砍了一块神仙肉，它自己长出来的。
啊？爹爹不是说了，得丢在锅里煮，肉才会越来越多吗？
哎呀，因为咱们家有福，神仙多赏给咱们的。
Dad explained to me while smiling. Upon hearing Dad's words, I felt relieved of any suspicion and became even happier. So I moved closer to Mom and started nibbling on the piece of raw meat she handed me. The raw meat cradled in my mother's palm was pink. I was like a greedy kitten burying my head in her hand and biting directly into the meat she handed me. It was a bit hard to bite into. However, it was really delicious. Mom was right, the meat from the deity meat didn't necessarily have to be cooked, it was delicious raw too. Eating it raw allowed me to fully appreciate the meat's flavor. As I chewed, I could feel the taste of blood surging to my head, bringing waves of exhilaration. I quickly devoured the meat. I was scared to starve again, so I kept eating, not daring to stop for a second. Every time I finished a piece, Mom passed me a new one. It seemed we indeed didn't have to worry about being hungry.
穗儿，慢点吃就行，不着急。
Mom saw I devoured the meat and laughed softly. Dad, Grandma, and the kitten also laughed. I didn't respond to them and just buried myself in the meat as I kept eating. I was really starving. I needed to keep eating non-stop. However, after I dug in for a little while, I noticed something unusual.
怎么了？
I spat out the thing I just ate. It was strands of dark fiber on my hand, and I picked them up to examine them closely. I thought they were wild grass at first, but then upon closer inspection, they startled me.
娘，有点不对劲。
怎么不对劲了？
神仙肉里怎么长了你的头？
I hate the music right now! With teary eyes, I asked Mom in a trembling voice. After I asked that question, it seemed like my mom froze in place. Her once gentle smile became stiff, and she remained motionless like a statue. Dad, Grandma, my little brother, and even the kitten who were all laughing moments ago stopped moving, as though they'd become a painting. I was living in a painting, the only one capable of moving. I screamed in horror and raised my hands to tear apart the canvas before me. Shadows swirled around me as my fantasy quickly shattered and crumbled. It was all a lie. There was no one else. I sat alone in the empty house. I held the cleaver in my left hand and a lump of flesh in my right. I froze in place motionless. Thick blood oozed through the gaps in my palm, dripping onto the floor with a steady rhythm. Flies came buzzing around, sickening me. The pungent smell of blood filled the room, saturating every breath. Darkness crept up my arms, little by little, consuming every inch of my skin. I wasn't hungry anymore. Exhaustion, weakness, and the sensation of skin covering my hands disappeared, but in their place was a more unpleasant discomfort. Ugh. I retched, unsure if it was due to nausea or sorrow. Ugh. I tried hard to vomit. I wanted to puke something out, but my efforts were in vain. Perhaps my stomach knew what I needed better than my brain. It wouldn't let me puke anything that would keep me alive. Mom, little bro, sorry, I'm sorry. I was so hungry that I couldn't tell. Sorry, I didn't mean to do it. You won't blame me, right? Say something, anything. Say something. Early in the morning, I stepped out of the house, leaving bloody footprints. I stepped on fallen leaves and mud until I reached a cliff about half a mile from home. The wind was cold on the cliff and below it was pitch black, making it impossible to gauge its depth. The night wind brushed against me and I felt alive in a way I never had before. It was also the first time I felt such a profound sense of wanting not to be alive. The kitten, Grandma, Dad, my little brother, Mom, they were all gone. It was all like a nightmare. I wanted to wake up from that nightmare. So long as I jumped from the cliff, I'd wake up. Just jump. I took a step forward. My eyes were closed, but I stepped with my foot in midair. It's all right, Sweer. You're not going to starve to death. You're going to survive and live a very long life. I wasn't sure why, but when I was about to jump, the words Dad had said to me back then echoed in my ears. His voice lingered, making me feel nostalgic. Dad, where exactly did you go? Dad, why didn't you come back? I wasn't sure if Dad was really dead or not. He spoke to me before I was going to jump off the cliff. That made me feel like he might still be alive. If Dad was still alive, then I should be too. That one day I will find him, I will tell him of all the agony I've gone through, then we will continue on living as long as we have each other. If Dad died, if he was murdered, then I would get revenge for Dad, for our family. I would kill whoever killed him. No, I must kill the bastard. Yep, here comes the reveals. Early the next morning, I cut off half my hair with a knife and carried the knife with me. To be able to stay alive longer, I knelt and begged for my family's forgiveness. I then brought parts of my brother and my mom with me in a bag on my back. Finally, I set a fire, burned the house down, and embarked on my journey. I died. The past me starved to death in this house. I was a corpse that died of hunger. I survived. The current me, with the help of my family, had survived and was someone who would move forward. I needed to be alive. I wasn't staying alive for myself, but for my family members who passed away. I needed to find the truth about Dad not coming back. If I couldn't find Dad, or if I found out Dad was already dead, then I must seek revenge for my family and become the retribution for the sworn enemy who murdered Dad. That was the only reason for the dead me to continue living. The fireworks had finished and the curfew was approaching Liaoyang. The lights in the city were extinguishing one by one. Street vendors were packing up their stalls, discussing how much silver they had earned that day. Soldiers were banging their drums, announcing the curfew before midnight, but pedestrians on the road continued their leisurely strolling. Adults held the children by their hands, and youths supported the elderly. People in the city walked in pairs or groups, chatting and laughing as they headed home. Beggars gathered together, huddling in corners. Some were already asleep, while others watched the passers-by returning home, their eyes revealing a hint of envy. I felt out of place among the people of the city. I hurriedly navigated through the crowd, walking against the flow of people, searching for the figure I had just lost. Mansu was gone. She had mentioned needing to relieve herself during the fireworks, but then she disappeared. I couldn't understand why she had vanished. Yes, she had indeed run off, but I couldn't fathom why. I wasn't planning on selling her anymore, and I wasn't going to send her to her death at the hands of the swine demon, nor make her a child bride, so why did she run? Had she encountered some danger like being abducted? That was a possibility. However, she was always very cautious, and it was hard for me to imagine her being kidnapped. I searched through the nearby slums, run-down temples, and under bridges, encountering many refugees and beggars, but I didn't find her. Where on earth had she gone? It was time for curfew in the city. The streets were deserted, the night watchmen patrolled, banging their drums and repeating the same phrases. It was forbidden to be outside during curfew. If caught by the night watchman, one would face punishment, so I had no choice but to return to the inn first. Well, I'll try looking for her again tomorrow. I'd been searching for nearly 2 hours now and still couldn't find her. Probably wasn't abducted. Even if she were, I shouldn't worry too much. That brat was quite clever. It wouldn't take long for her to figure her way out to safety. If she truly wanted to leave on her own, then so be it. Perhaps she just simply didn't want to stay with me anymore. I'll get some rest first. I lay in bed, repeating reassuring words over and over in my mind. But I still couldn't sleep after a while. I got up, checked the latch on the room door, and made sure my blade was by my side, and then went back to bed. Just sleep. Whatever, I'll figure it out tomorrow. The darkness quickly pulled my consciousness into a slumber. Not long after I fell asleep, and my consciousness also slipped into a dream. Heavy rain poured down in torrents. The sound of the rain was like a continuous stream. It was as if the sky had split open and raindrops cascaded down like beads from the sky. It had been a long time since I had seen such a rain. I was standing on the street in Liaoyang wearing a straw raincoat and a bamboo hat. This place should have been bustling, but now it was deserted due to the rain. I walked forward aimlessly, trying to find a place to stay, but came across a strange sight. The sides of the road were littered with corpses, all of which were people I had killed. Most had their throats slit, some were missing limbs, and a few were cleaved in half, their deaths gruesome beyond imagination. They were mostly men. Their eyes and mouths were half open, crawling, pleading, and crying in my direction. Their faces, once forgotten, were now vivid in my memory. 1, 2, 3, 10, 20, 30. There were so many of them, their final breaths were long overdue, but hushed whispers still escaped their mouths. I could vaguely catch their words. They were cursing me, wishing for my demise. So annoying. So damn annoying! I hastened my pace, dashing through the rain, desperate to leave those people behind and never see them again. During the 2 years when I was fleeing from the famine, I killed people because I had no choice. For each life I took, I saved another. Sometimes I had to kill people to save my own life. During the years when I was a bandit, I also killed people because I had no choice. What else could a homeless man like me do? What else was I supposed to do besides banditry to survive? Now, I'm becoming a good person. I did good things. I helped those kids, so I'm not a wolf anymore. I'll be a good person from now on. I'll stop killing people. Don't bother me anymore. I kept repeating that in my head, my steps getting faster and faster. Finally, I shook off those people I had killed. Whoosh. A soft breeze passed by, causing me to pause in my tracks. The sky remained dark, as if the entire sky was on the verge of collapsing, ready to crush the entire city. However, the rain stopped. The instant the rain stopped and I shook off those people, I saw a familiar figure. At the far end of the road stood a slender figure, Mansui. Mansui was standing at the far end of the street in Liaoyang with her back toward me. She was standing on the street just after it had rained. The pavement reflected her figure like a bronze mirror, making her look as though she was standing on a river. She was soaked, maybe drenched from the storm. Her hair, matted with water, clung to the nape of her neck. Droplets covered her body, and wet clothes clung to her skin, clearly outlining her slender figure. Hey, little brat! I quickly took a few steps forward, trying to approach her. Regardless, the appearance of the little brat still put me at ease. I got closer and reached out to pat her shoulder. She shivered, seemingly surprised by my touch, but she didn't turn back. Why didn't she turn back and look at me? Pitter-patter, pitter-patter, pitter-patter. Suddenly the rain intensified, pounding down harder than before. The earlier rainfall was like someone smashing an abacus into the sky. This one was like tearing apart the pearl curtain of heaven. Raindrops fell relentlessly from the sky, threatening to engulf the entire city. What the hell kind of rain is this? Nervously, I looked around, noticing the water level rising beneath my feet. The water passed my ankles, my calves, and then my knees and kept rising. The entire city seemed to be submerged in the torrents of the river. Panic washed over me. I walked up and tried to grab the little brat's hand. She was short, after all. It would be easy for her to be submerged by that rapidly surging water level. However, the instant my hand touched hers, her figure began to blur gradually. While her body became blurry, she finally turned her head to gaze at me. Her expression seemed to be crying, yet a faint smile tugged at her lips. Her eyes were tinged with regret and resentment, but her face wore an indifference of disillusionment with life and death. What exactly did you want to say? What exactly did you want to do? I gazed at her, confused. I couldn't understand her expression, nor grasp what was on her mind. She vanished bit by bit, and I wanted to stop it all. Hey, little brat! Don't disappear! Don't disappear! I shouted at her as loud as I could, but my voice was drowned out by the storm. I called her name over and over again, but it was no use. Eventually, she still vanished. Ah! I woke from the dream. I was sitting on the bed in the inn, my back soaked with cold sweat. What was that dream? I had a dream. A dream about that little brat. What did that dream mean? I didn't really get its meaning. I wiped the sweat from my forehead and scrambled out of bed. I grabbed my blade, packed my belongings, and then headed to the inn's lobby, intending to leave. Glancing out at the people on the street from the inn's lobby, I saw the bustling activity indicating it was at least mid-morning. How come I got up this late? Let's go find that little brat again today. Last night's dream intensified the sense of uneasiness in my heart. At this moment, I simply wanted to find her immediately.
Oh,
Jesus Christ. His voice scared me, man. It was the sudden noise. Holy shit. Waiter at the inn called out to me when I was about to leave. What is it? I furrowed my brow and asked the waiter, feeling a bit confused.
客官，您昨天来办住店时，身旁是不是跟着一个小女娃？
Waiter asked me carefully. I instantly felt a pang of anxiety. Yeah, I did. What happened? Was she here just now?
对，她是在城中响了不久后来的。
Oh, thank God!
那娃子塞给我一吊钱，想托我给您留个东西。
Tell me she sold herself. No. She wouldn't have been given freedom if she sold... What did she sell? She sold some... Hold on. I'm gonna go pee. I'm gonna go pee, and then we'll be locked in. I gotta pee real bad. Okay. What's that? I stared blankly at the waiter. The waiter handed me a small bag. Hold on, where'd the music go? Ah, could it be that she's returning the shoes that I gave her? I took a guess as I looked at the small bundle. The size of the bundle didn't seem right for shoes. I slowly unwrapped the bundle and the thing inside caught me by surprise. It was a pouch. The pouch was red, sewn together with patches, yet it looked new, adorned with the pale character on top. What's this? I mumbled to myself while looking at the pouch. A sudden stab of pain shot through my temple, and in instant memories I thought I had forgotten flooded back into my mind. 4 years ago, in the last few months of 1628, I encountered a man in the mountains. That man was dressed like a peasant from northern Shan, wearing a bamboo hat and carrying a bag on his back. He kept going west at a brisk pace. He wiped the sweat off his forehead as he walked, his eyes filled with eager anticipation. Suddenly I dashed up from the bushes and tackled him to the ground. Without waiting for him to say something, I plunged the dagger into his heart and pressed all my weight on him. He struggled desperately, trying to grab my dagger and get me off of him. At the same time, his eyes were fixed on me, almost on the blink of tears, pleading with fear for me not to kill him. When I killed, I often avoided the gaze of the victim. So I took off his hat and covered his face with it, refusing to look at him. In the end, I pressed his head with the hat in one hand while tightly gripping the dagger and plunged into his heart with the other. He struggled violently for a bit, kicked his legs twice, then went completely still. After he died, I searched his body and found a small red pouch. The pouch was tiny, embroidered with a light-colored character on top. I remembered this pouch. I sold this pouch a long time ago. At the time, after killing that man, I carried this pouch with me for more than a year. After a year, since I didn't take on any jobs for 2 months and was a bit strapped for cash, I sold this pouch to a dodgy pawn shop in Waozhou. 4 months we left, she specifically left me this pouch. What did she want to tell me? Did she have anything to do with this pouch? Did she have anything to do with the man back then? Could it be? She's that man's daughter. She and that man indeed looked a bit alike. Plus, if she really were the daughter of the man, then a lot of things would make sense. I stood in shock, carefully sorting through my memories of her. From our first encounter in Waozhou City, I felt she was different from the other girls and somewhat suspicious. That night we left Waozhou City, she pretended that she wanted a peace so she could assassinate me. She only softened after her assassination attempt failed and I threw away the blade. She told me about her life story, taught me shadow play, and learned about my experience. I became more acquainted with her along the way. As we spent more time together, she subtly changed me. After that, I killed Tung for the girls, trying to secure a better life for them, even though I might not get much money out of it. And I wasn't planning on selling her anymore. Gradually, I transformed into a better person. I no longer desired the life of abandon and wanted to start anew. She said a lot of things, but perhaps not much was true. The swine demon killed her sister and destroyed her entire family. Those were probably fake. Her age, her background, and the things she said were probably all fake. The purpose of her approaching me was only to avenge her father. But why didn't she kill me after that? Why did she just leave like that? There was indeed a lack of opportunity in the beginning. After all, she rushed into things on the very first day and tried to kill me. I was still very wary of her at the time. I threw away her blade, but still kept an eye on her. However, why didn't she try to kill me again after that? While we were staying at the inn in Haijiao, she had the opportunity to steal a kitchen knife. On the wagon to Liaoyang, she could easily have killed me while I was sound asleep. Why didn't she kill me? I clenched the pouch tightly. Guilt, fear, confusion, sadness, and bewilderment. Various tumultuous emotions made it difficult for me to find peace. I didn't know what her logic was in doing these things. Why didn't she kill me after all? Why did she leave by herself? Why did she give me this pouch in the end? What exactly did she want? I just didn't get it. Besides asking you to give me this thing, did she say anything else? I asked the waiter in a trembling voice, trying to gather more intel to figure out her intent.
说了什么吗？没说什么呀。
Card.
客官，他真没说什么，他就说把这个东西留给你，别的什么都没说。
I nodded, grabbed my luggage, and left without a word. I thought this little brat would leave me a message or something, but nope. Why, actually? I'm her sworn enemy because I murdered her father, but then she just left without doing anything. What on earth was the significance of her deed? I had no idea, but still decided to go and look around. I planned to retrace the steps we took yesterday, ask people who might have seen us, and then look for her again. If I could find her, I would be able to ask her and unravel all the unanswered mysteries. Oh, I had no idea how I was going to face her. Should I apologize or try to explain? I didn't know. I first went to the market where the temple fair was held yesterday. The market today lacked the vibrancy of last night. Scattered individuals were cleaning the ground, while small vendors were setting up stalls and calling out their wares, with occasional passers-by pausing briefly. I revisited the riverside where she and I had been yesterday. Yesterday we had encountered a beggar family with a little girl where we got robbed. I looked around, but it didn't seem like that family were there. There was only an elderly man fishing by the riverside, his eyes half closed. While I was staring at the elderly man and hesitating to ask, a voice sounded from behind me. The beggar girl from yesterday came out of nowhere and stood behind me. It's you. I gave her a quick look and greeted her. You're not hungry today.
用你给的银子买了大饼，不饿了。
The beggar girl smiled and blinked her eyes. As she spoke, she took out a palm-sized pancake from her pocket and showed it to me.
你在找人吗？在找昨天那个娃？
Yeah, I'm looking for her. Have you seen her?
当然见过啊。
You have? When?
昨天的时候，他跟你一起
God!
的。
I was initially thrilled when I heard she had seen Mansui. However, what she meant by "have seen her" actually happened yesterday. It left me a bit disappointed.
还有今天的时候，我也见过他。
My God. This game. Just as I was getting disappointed, the beggar girl mentioned that she had seen her today as well. Today? When?
我不会算时间，大概就是很早的时候，瞧见他沿着河边走。
The beggar girl pointed me toward a road. Strictly speaking, this wasn't exactly giving directions. She was pointing out the entire road along the riverbank. Thank you. Nevertheless, I still thanked her and quickly set off. Oh no, don't tell me Mansui killed herself. I had a lead. It seemed that the little brat had walked along the river. After sneaking away, she didn't leave the city but instead continued along the river. Wait, why would she walk along the river? What? I pondered as I walked briskly. Don't tell me she's not gonna be dead. Riverbank River. Did she ever mention anything about a river? Oh, it seems she actually did. Suddenly I remembered something she said. My memory's a bit foggy. I was real young then. My dad took me to Liaoyang, and I remember a river in the city with a lake at the end. I think I got lost back then. Walked along that river crying till I reached the lake. That's where I found my dad. While on the wagon, the little brat mentioned feeling like she had been to Liaoyang before. She said her dad had brought her to Liaoyang when she was little. At that time, she got lost and found her dad by walking along the river. Felt like her story was probably fabricated. Judging from her fresh and curious demeanor yesterday, it was probably her first time in Liaoyang. Why would she make up such a story? I couldn't understand, but I still planned to follow her path. So I walked along the river, intending to find the lake at the end of the river she had mentioned. Please, 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 please. I searched for a long time. I walked for several hours. I didn't eat anything at all, yet I kept walking. From day to dusk, I kept walking. Eventually, just when I was about to give up, thinking there was no lake inside Liaoyang, I seemed to have found one. The waters of the Chan River flowed to the southeast corner of the city, where there was indeed a small lake. According to the old man who gave me directions earlier, this lake was once a bustling port during the Sui and Tang dynasties, but it fell into disuse and fewer people came here over time. Nowadays, the lake is not used for navigation. It's just an abandoned lake within the city, serving no purpose. A few years ago, a woman whose chastity had been ruined jumped into this lake. Her body never surfaced, and since then the lake seemed haunted, with reports of a woman's crying echoing around. Many people detested the ominous air, so even fewer people came here. As I walked step by step, I checked out the lake before me. The small lake was tinged yellow by the twilight. The inner circle was a dirty marsh, the middle circle was overgrown with weeds, and the outer circle consisted of dilapidated houses, giving it a desolate and bleak ambiance. I searched around but didn't find Mansui. It seemed she wasn't here. I knew it was a long shot that she would come here. What would she be doing at a place like this lake anyway? Just as I was about to leave, I suddenly noticed something unusual. A few dozen yards away from me, there was a series of shallow footprints pressed into the muddy ground. The footprints clearly belonged to someone who wasn't wearing shoes. They led all the way to the lakeside. The footprints were very small and about half the size of my hand. They looked like the footprints of that little brat. My spirits lifted. After searching for so long, I finally found what seemed to be her trace. So I quickly ran forward and followed the footprints. My feet sank in the mud while with each step bringing up some dirt with my shoes. Step by step, I followed the footprints with difficulty. In the end, I found what she had left behind. Oh! I bent my head down and looked at what was placed by the lake. For a long moment, I couldn't find the words. No! 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 By the lakeside lay a pair of shoes. The shoes were light blue with pointed tips and bright silver peonies stitched on both sides, looking delicate and small like two little birds with folded wings. The shoes seemed as if they were painted onto the bank, unmoved by the passing breeze. The sides of the shoes were not stained with mud. It appeared that she must have walked here barefoot carrying her shoes. And then, where did she go? I grew suspicious to follow the footprints along the bank, onward all the way to the lake. There were no return footprints. I froze. Based on the footprints, it seemed that the little brat had... Did she just keep walking towards the lake? Why? Please don't be dead. After that, never saw her again. No! I asked the nearby fisherman and learned that although the lake seemed to be within the city, it actually connected the Chan River. If someone jumped into the river here, it would be difficult to find them. The drowned person would be washed into the Chan River through the outlet of the lake and then into the Lu River. Once out of Liaoyang, they would never be found again. I pondered for many days, but still couldn't understand. Why did the little brat leave like that, and why did she give me that pouch in the end? She revealed to me that I was her dad's murderer, but then chose to disappear. Red, did you really jump into the river? Did you really die? Why didn't you seek revenge? What in the world was the meaning of all this? After that, I continued southward, inquiring about her along the way, but I never found any information. From then on, I've been searching for an answer that could never be found. I didn't realize it until many years later. It began in such a sudden way, but the result of my never finding an answer was her revenge on me. The gentlest yet cruelest revenge. Hold on. There were billion points. I chose to negotiate. I say I regretted killing. After the beggar child comes, give them coins. But I did the favor. I did the negotiation. Didn't I? What? Hold on. We're clicking through this. Because I'm salty. I should have the max. I should have the fucking max. I gave the beggar child coins. I said I regret killing. And I chose to negotiate. What? Oh, that was a bad guy then. Hold on. We're gonna, with a Google Translate. Google Translate. Chinese to English. Translator. Let's see, ready to take on the job. $13B. Options that influence the ending based on goodwill. 13. Negotiated terms. 15A. Regret. 16A. Goodwill. Yeah. I don't understand. Why don't I get the true ending?
是啊，是娃子。吃娃子，吃娃子。
Because this shouldn't be my ending then. This is I'm gonna.
是啊。
不要吃我，求求
If I, because I've done
不要
everything.
吃我。
I did everything right. I'm just clicking until if this is where.
哎，哦，是个小女，你爹你娘呢？原来是，哎，天要冷了，睡外面会冻死你的。
This shouldn't be my fucking ending. I'm reading this fucking shit. If this isn't my fucking ending. Why is she dead? Why did she fucking?
走。
要去。
有什么？
他看。
哦，你。
谢谢。
哎，我这身老骨。
What the fuck? Hungry lamb. Max affinity. Still bad ending. Okay, so If I do fireworks.
行，
好，
这次夜
不怕，梁爷。若是梁爷，你真不杀他们？
So we do this.
不敢了，俺们在。
That's kind of dumb. I don't like that I have to get 2 endings.
怎么了，梁爷？
To
不卖我了？
you know.
不行的，梁爷，我要先去解个手，你在这里。
Because this choosing to scold them is 0 points, so we should only have 2 points then, which will get us the middle ending. But God, my fingers are tired of pressing spacebar. I wish you could skip. Oh, there we go. Yeah, we get arrested because she framed us.
Hey, 客官，等等，客官，对，他是在城中响了不久后来的，那娃子塞给我一吊起。客官，我忽然想起了一件事儿，快逃！
Good, come on. I just want to get through this, man. I want to get my real ending. The ending that I should have gotten the first run through.
Eh, 这里还没找，找找这个破庙。贼人，是那个贼人！别杀，留他一命。之前的小贼死了，王爷说这个要留活口。
We die a badass, though. Okay. Okay. I am definitely annoyed by this being how. Okay, so now we go back to chapter 15.
行，
好，
这次也
不怕，良爷。若是良爷，
谢谢。
不卖我了，良爷。
对，
哎呀，客官，
Should be until we go to the river. If this is still the fucking same, I'm gonna be so pissed. What the fuck? Dude! Hungry lamb can't get max affinity? I'm pissed.
哎，这就
大爷
爹吗？
我怎么我们？
哎，这里做事儿不要小娃子。哎，
哎，别哄，3楼找一小间，
I'm pissed.
带
I'm
他上
pissed.
来。
Am I genuinely, truly not getting the good
小故
fucking
事
ending?
哦，看来是有你不给我讲。唉，听了，今后你想每天为我做些事，我帮你打听。
Cause I'm not reading it because this isn't supposed to be my fucking ending.
啊，前两不过我给你的字条上列了闪避一些黑当铺。
谢谢云姐。
Because I negotiated. I did all the correct options. I regretted killing.
老爷，这里
哎，
我有钱，
不行。
那我若是什
哦，
我是当真的。
行，那你进去吧，看一会儿就得出来啊，也别给我翻乱了。
这是
哎，
找到了。
找到了。哦，我看看。哎，小娃子，你这是你们
这你觉得不够，我就赚1年、2年、3。
Okay, what if we... Okay, we're gonna go from here.
梁爷啊，
梁爷，
你们跑不过吗？你带着女娃，我带
赢了。
死，
妈，好事！
死。
梁爷，金玉。
错。
那是
听说大爷
开始。
住手！我看这些女娃，卖个好价钱。天色不早。
谁家？
哦，
Okay, so now it's in the...
我们
你不是狼，
好嘞。
会，梁爷，我在帮你。
这些都是
啊？当时，那不想梁。
regret.
行，
好，
这次也
不怕，梁爷。若是梁爷，
Offer them money.
谢谢，不卖我了。不，梁爷。
If this doesn't give me a different fucking ending, I'm... Oh wait, this is different. What's that dream?
哎，客官，等等。对，
Okay, yes, this is all same stuff.
啊？说？哎呀，客官，他真没说什么，他就说把这个东西留给你，别的什么都没说。
Come on, come on, please, 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 please.
喂，用你给的银子，你在当然讲昨天的时候，我还有我不会算是。
This is still the same stuff, so I don't know why. But she should be at the end, not fucking dead. Yes! Mansui! She was standing in the shallow water at the lake's edge, just like I saw in my dream. This time, unlike the dream where she had been drenched to the bone, her upper body was not wet, though the lower half of her body was completely submerged in the lake. She turned sideways to me and looked in my direction motionlessly, her gaze dead, as if she were seeing through me and looking at something else beyond. I had the impression that she had turned into a corpse. Alas, I waded through the mud while calling out to her. She stayed still even after hearing my voice. However, her wind-blown hair gave me a sense of reality. It confirmed to me that she was real and alive. That was enough. Yesterday you suddenly fled. I couldn't figure out why. This morning I got what you left me from the waiter in the inn, and I figured it out at once. I talked to her slowly as I stepped into the lake. While walking, I spoke to her. She remained silent, not responding to me. The moment I saw that pouch, I knew you were here to seek revenge. I killed your dad and probably your whole family too. You came to me to seek revenge in the first place. I continued to approach her, the water already above my knees. I was now only a few steps away from her. She still didn't respond. Alas, you've been looking for a chance to kill me on the way. I understand now. The reason you want to kill me, everything you've done is for revenge. I don't quite understand why you didn't kill me in the end. Why did you leave on your own and come here? What do you want? Eagerly, I questioned her while stepping closer. I was now only a few feet away. Suddenly, she began to move. Push. She stepped in my direction, her body half turned in the water, her dress floating in the water also half turned like a windmill, stirring up small rings of ripples. The sound of a blade broke through the air. She tried to stab me in the chest after taking out a dagger from somewhere. I didn't dodge. Instead, I stood motionless while looking at her calmly. The tip of the dagger came straight toward my chest, piercing my skin. I could feel a tinge of pain as blood seeped from my skin. To my surprise, she didn't stab deeper. She only pierced the skin in my chest with the dagger and stopped when the blood came out. She trembled, keeping her head low, gripping the dagger in her hand and gritting her teeth. Her jaw twitched slightly. She was trying her best to choke back her brimming tears as if she had been wronged and was too grieved to speak. I scrutinized her in silence. She stabbed me with a blade but didn't pierce through my chest. I've always cherished my life, but this time I didn't judge. Maybe I was immobilized by guilt deep in my heart. I just waited for her to kill me. Her father was murderer. Yet she didn't. Her silence lasted only a few moments before her violent outburst.
杀！我当然想杀了你啊！爹爹死了，娘死了，弟弟死了，我一直没死，就是为了有朝一日能杀你。遇见你之前的1000多个晚上，我没日没夜，没时没刻，都在想着要怎么杀你。我记着你的名字，反复的念，一路上都在想怎么杀你。我想把你用刀捅穿，用绳子勒死，用毒药毒死，用被子闷死，用水淹死，用火烧死，用拳打死，用脚踩死。我要把你剥皮、挖心、抽肠生吃，火烹车裂凌迟。
Jesus Christ.
我想了100遍、1000遍、10000遍要怎么杀你，结果到现在都没能杀了你。在华山的那一晚，我便忍不住了，找到机会就想杀你，结果你逃过一劫，还夺了我的刀。第2晚刀没了，你也开始警惕我，于是我便想教你影子戏，待你放松警惕，再找机会杀你。可这之后，每当我想下手，总担心你死了后，那些孩子们没有好去处，需先留着你的命。我想借你来保住那些孩子。在马车里的时候，我终于有机会，也有理由杀你了。明明早就准备好了，我下了药，藏了刀，想趁你睡觉的时候一刀宰了你。可是，你为什么像是变了一个人？为什么要对那些孩子那么好？为什么要送我那双新鞋子？我几次想向你回刀，但是一想到你做的事，一想到你变好了，所以那次在马车里的时候，我丢了刀，咬着牙画你的画像。我自己下不了手，便想到了洛阳后再背叛你，陷害你，想带着你的画像去刺杀屯妖。若是事成，我可以为民除害，杀了那屯妖；若是事不成，也能把你诬陷为同伙，拉下水。无论怎么样都是好事。可是，我为什么还是做不下去？我怎么连这都心软了？不仅没法亲手杀你，连借刀杀人都做不到。我不要仇，对不起爹爹，对不起家人，我为什么这么没用啊
？She pressed her blade against my chest, unable to stop crying. She She burst into tears, pitter-patter, some falling into the lake and some on her shirt. It's the first time I'd ever seen her cry so heartbrokenly. In comparison, all her crying before seemed fake. In front of my eyes, her tear-stained face was truly crying for the first time. It's alright, don't cry. Last night, you deliberately walked around with me in the city to impress our partnership on people as much as possible. During the fireworks, you ran away again, carrying my portrait to assassinate the swine demon, planning to frame me as a criminal to have 3 generations of my family executed. How can you call such a good plan useless? Oh, by the way, where is my portrait? Show it to me. Let me see if it looks like me. I sighed and asked tentatively. For whatever reason, I felt the tension between us ease a little after hearing her rant.
不给，我早就扔了，我看见你就烦。你听我说了这么多，想说的就只有这个。
She asked me with a sobbing voice while still pressing her dagger against my chest. The brat kept yelling you at me. It was the first time I'd seen her lose her temper so desperately. I guess she'll never call me Master Lang anymore after the confession. Well, my mind is a mess after finding out so much all at once. Got a lot to say, but don't know where to start. Over the past month, I've also felt like I've changed a lot. To the point where I don't recognize myself. At first, I only wanted to live for myself. That was enough. But somehow, after going through all this with you and the other kids, I'm not the same person I used to be. I exhaled deeply. Well, you might as well kill me. I came here to look for you, but I didn't know how to face you. Now I've thought about it again. Why don't you just kill me? I don't know how to let you have your revenge on me. Even if I pay you back. Still, a lot of other people I owe revenge. It's troublesome just thinking about it. And I don't know how I'm gonna live after this. It feels like there's no point anymore. You may as well kill me. It's better for everyone if someone like me dies. I put away my smile and looked at her seriously with my offer. She looked firmly in my eyes, as if to ascertain my sincerity. I was serious about it. I wished to be killed or be killed by her. I had been feeling lost. In recent days, I increasingly felt that escaping to the south would be meaningless. I had lived long enough in this chaotic world. That fact that I just learned that I killed her dad made me feel even more guilty and painful. I wanted to die even more now. I already lost my family during the explosion many years ago. I had no ties keeping me in this world. I had been living like a walking corpse without goals, dreams, or any hope. I killed a lot of people, made a lot of enemies, and owed a lot of people my life. I might as well let her kill me to end it all. A desire for death became firm. I moved my body slightly, allowing the tip of the dagger to approach my heart. It cut through my skin, moving bit by bit closer. Just a few more inches and I could let her stab me to death.
不行，
Unsweet didn't follow my wish. She moved the knife away from my chest, lowered her head, and spoke with her teeth clenched. Kill me already.
做不到。
Kill me!
我做不到啊！
She shouted angrily at me while her hand became forceful. The knife moved away from my heart, drawing blood from my skin elsewhere. We were at a stalemate. After a short while, I noticed a slight tremble in her body. She couldn't do it, or at least she couldn't do it for now. Why can't you do it? I asked her in
能
confusion.
做到的话，我早就动手了。我早晚要杀了你的。可是此时此刻，就这么杀了你，我觉得不该是这样的，所以做不到。
I thought hard about her words. Shouldn't it be like this so she couldn't do it? What was she waiting for? Was she waiting for an auspicious date to kill me or a better opportunity? I don't know. I watched her in silence. Her body trembled slightly in the lake. The lake's surface rippled as the breeze blew across it. Her small body appeared even more frail. She was shivering. Is it because her emotions were too intense? Or is it because she was feeling cold? Hey, if you don't want to kill me now, you can do it later. You must be feeling cold now, right? Let's go ashore and rest first. Warm yourself up and kill me later. I suggested we go ashore first because I thought she was cold. I went ashore. After some time, she came ashore too. I soaked my legs up to my knees while she soaked her entire lower body. We left behind wet footprints as we walked along the lake shore. Neither of us changed our clothes. We both stood by the lake in our water-soaked clothes. It was only after I got to shore that I noticed a detail. She had walked into the lake barefoot and was not wearing the shoes I had given her. She left her shoes by the lake and only went to pick them up when she got ashore. Did she cherish the shoes I had given her? It couldn't be. Probably just didn't want to die with something her enemy gave her and was worried about being blamed by her family after she died. For a while, the two of us stood by the lake silently. About a dozen minutes passed and I couldn't help myself, so I struck up a conversation with her again. Got something else to ask you before you kill me.
问吧。
How did you know I killed your father?
当初 猜弟弟是在闪地失踪的，用了3年时间，在闪地周边打听。7个月前，我在华州城的一家当铺里找到了那个荷包，也就是我送给弟弟的荷包。这荷包是我亲手做的，弟弟必定不会乱丢。那么将这荷包带过来的人，多半便是杀了他的仇人。我把钱都给了老板，他就把知道的事都说了。他说了你常做杀人劫盗的行当，也告诉了我很多关于你的事。
Damn, that fat guy in Wazhu sure didn't care about his client's privacy. Don't you know the rules? A pawn shop can't disclose the client's info. That true? I don't think that's true. Had I not resolved not to kill people anymore, I'd have liked to do him in. So, then you pretended to be abducted by Yin-san, and then you blended in with the kids to find me?
倒是不需要假装被他拐走。我听到他和别人商量送娃子的事，知道他常和你合作，便装成哑巴去找他了。他看我无家可归，也听话懂事，便待我不错。你们来的时候，我一直担心他会留着我不卖。不过，还好他最后还是把我交给你了。
Mansui chuckled softly as if reminiscing on bygone days. You overheard Yin-san about the swine demon buying little girls to eat them alive?
是啊，他觉得我是哑巴，从不锁着我。一天晚上我起夜的时候便偷听到了。不过，吞妖的故事是奶奶给我讲的，是我编进去的。
That explains a lot. I understood a lot of things all at once, but I still had more to ask. Wait, you're not from Liaoyang, are you? Where exactly are you from?
陕北人，原来的家在甘泉附近的一个小村子里。
Oh, famine hit there a few years ago. It wasn't easy for you. How old are you?
14。
Huh. I believe you're 14.
是啊，前几天刚14的，原来是13。
Oh my
你给我
god.
新鞋子的那天刚好14。
Wow. I was a bit shocked. I didn't know she was already 14. Old enough to get married and considered an adult. Now she looked like a child. Maybe because she was often starved when she should have eaten a lot for physical growth. She turned 14 only a few days ago, making the shoes I gave her kind of like a birthday gift. No wonder she couldn't kill me. Even though I killed her father, I was the only one who gave her a gift on the day she came of age. What happened to the rest of your family when your dad didn't come back? I asked her about her family again.
奶奶稍早些就死了，弟弟是病死的，娘是上吊死的。
So that doesn't count as me killing them, right?
就是被你害死的。本来弟弟买了东西，会带着粮食和药回来。
We fucking killed her family, dude.
他被你杀了，没回来，我们就没有粮食和药。弟弟没药死了，娘看弟弟死了也上吊死了，他们就是被你害死的。
She glared at me while speaking through gritted teeth. She deliberately emphasized twice that they all died because of me, and was so convinced that I was the root cause of her family's death so that I should take responsibility. She was right. I can be said to be the one who killed her entire family. After all, if I hadn't killed her dad, he would have brought food back to save his whole family who might have been able to survive the famine and live on. It was all cause and effect. If she's not going to blame me, should I ask her to blame the heavens for not raining for 3 years? I deserve to be killed by her so that she can have her revenge. After all, I am her sworn and only enemy. I am the only reason for her family's demise. Wait, that's not right. Something's wrong with that logic. I'm totally clear that I am a sinner who deserves 1,000 deaths, but at the thought of shouldering all the blame of her tragedy, I nevertheless felt that I was somewhat wrongly accused. I was told that I was the one to blame. Was I the only one to blame? All of a sudden, my mind reverberated with various voices as if I heard my life story in Mansui's. Cries, howls, and wails, voices of sarcasm, curses, and giggles. These voices were intermingled in a mess, but all were voices I had heard in my memory which had been mute for so long. No, not just voices, there were images too. The images in my mind became clearer bit by bit. Memories of living in this dynasty unfolded themselves and flickered right before my eyes. I remember the Tianqi explosion in the capital. Dad died in that accident, leaving me confused and helpless by myself. I remember the soldiers driving the victims of the famine out of the city and the eunuch who kept emphasizing that the explosion was a natural disaster. I remembered the people exiled from their homes who would rather sob and murder than starve to death. I remembered the landlords who hoarded up grains, their doors shut tight. I remembered the starving people in Shuigao village who kneeled down and begged for food. I remembered Hong Air, Sui Air, and Changhua who were left at the mercy of others. I remembered Yin San and Tung's greedy look. I remember the homeless beggars by the riverside subject to the vagaries of fate. I remember the swine demon's palace whose buildings were higher than those of the Forbidden City. I remembered those who stood on high in splendor and wealth. I remembered those corpses that piled up all over as I fled from the famine. It's true that I'm Mansui's sworn enemy, but in this decaying dynasty, am I her only sworn enemy? It can't be. She's not the only one who deserves revenge, and I'm not the only one to seek revenge upon. We have a common sworn enemy. Someone else loomed behind the demise of our families and all this fighting between us. He hid behind the shelter called Destiny. He claimed to be protected by the heavens. He had been watching us, ridiculing us, and laughing at us as we killed each other. He had remained unnoticed by us, but he was our greatest sworn enemy. Damn. I gritted my teeth and cursed, looking at something reflected in the lake.
你在骂什么？
A sworn enemy.
谁的仇人？
Ours.
少在这故弄玄虚。
How about this?
什么？
I know how I'm gonna pay you back for my life.
你到现在还不明白？你怎么还都不够。
Maybe it will be. Hear me out. I said to her in a softened tone. Okay, I'm kind of tired of reading. Yeah, so he's upset with... He wants to join the rebellion. Oh. Rebel army. Yeah, we're gonna just skip kind of all of this. I think I kind of know the vibe of what's coming. I am really peeved that I
我怎么
couldn't.
知道你跟了反军能还债？搞不好你会杀更多无辜的人。记得
That I cannot get this
我
ending
们还给
without
说是细想，
like
我家本没
on
有
the
你
first
不后来
try.
这么说
Like
的
I'd done
话
everything
行
right
你若是
the
历
first
经
time
要是
around.
敌不过你等到落那时，我一定会来取你的性命。我应该不活9点，好盯着良夜是否守约。也好在多年后杀了良夜。啊，良夜，为了防止以5年为期，若是5年后闯军攻入洛阳，良夜杀了屯妖拉钩，杀喂，良夜，你也念啊。2个人都念了才算数。那这是，总之，良夜和我要5年来鸳鸯，所以啊，良夜千万不能死了。良夜。
Come on, I just want complete the game.
饶命！
中过了。
娘，我记你以前说过。哦，
大哥，娘，刚才我
不行。不行。
I'm just my voice is just tired. I'm just tired of talking, and I know exactly what's gonna happen.
不要弗洛耶！
And I am still butthurt about it.
杀鹿肉20，给猪。
That's a cool feigning. Like it's dumb that I can't get this ending on the first run. Like you should be able to get the perfect ending if you do everything right, and I did everything right.
咋了？啊？咋真？哦，当时你来，哎，那你见着我个女娃，这咋还娘？再一个，等以后我当了皇上，给你封官，赐给你更不完的。
Say goodbye. Yeah.
不是这个事儿，有人托我来接你，他见不得你着凉啊。是啊，还是一位姑娘嘞，她就在船上。
At that moment, a girl poked her head out of the cabin and walked out with an open umbrella. She was wearing a long aqua blue dress with a white sash tied around her waist. Her hair is up, so she's married now. The rain soaked the hemline of her dress but left no trace on her cascading black hair. With effortless grace, she leisurely stepped out of the cabin, raising her eyes to meet mine. At that very moment, the wind seemed to have died and even time was frozen. The trees on both sides of the Lu River stopped swaying, and the raindrops in the sky hovered in midair without falling onto the ground. I surveyed the familiar yet unfamiliar face through the motionless curtain of rain. I tried to call out her name but couldn't utter a word as if something was stuck in my throat. She smiled softly, showing 2 cute dimples. She called out my name before I did hers. The frozen flow of time thawed the moment she called out my name. The wind once again began to blow against the trees along the river and the leaves rustled. The rain began again to fall incessantly, spreading ripples on the surface of the river.
良夜，下着雨呢，别着凉了，来，跟我进船舱吧。
Yep, that's it. 9 years have passed. What man, what is there saying? I thought I'd never see you again. Why didn't you show up at our agreed place? I was too nervous to control.
船河太小了，船开不进去，而且我才刚听闻闯军攻下洛阳，我和良夜还是有缘呢。你刚要走远，我便在路上接到。没有，我去过很多地方，我经常会打听洛阳城的消息，以便来找你赴约。
There's something else someone could have. Would to take my life as we agreed upon 9 years ago. Why not? I think she would do it another way she wanted to kill me. You've changed a lot, not much taller, but an adult now.
毕竟，话说，良夜觉得我好看了吗？
Anything of me? Have I changed
良
much?
夜打了这么多年，不过， 总体还是和我记忆中的样子。还没嫁呢。
Not married, but her hair's up. I thought the hair up meant married.
梁爷呢？打仗的时
No,
候
don't
娶
do
妻
that.
了
Don't
吗
do. No, we're like a father figure.
也是。是啊，父母之仇不得不报。梁爷的命不过就这样如何？我再给梁爷宽限一段时间，梁爷把想做的事都做了，了却了所有心愿后再死吧。
My wishes for a long time, and this is the only one. I want to make a trip to Haizhou first and ask Kite about how the other girls are doing. It's been 9 years.
啊，他们的近况，翠儿和红儿都没嫁人。因为琼花嫁人了。不过翠儿、红儿的话，我们5年前我去找过一次渊姐姐，几个月前我还说的啊，信中还提到，不知他们演的如何，我倒是挺想看的。好呀，那便说好了，等那时我再杀梁爷。啊，梁爷，其实这么多年了，唯独梁爷，我说了全名。当初我就是觉得，如今怎么想的？话说回来，你喜欢满岁，还是岁？啊。
She lives, I live, and that's the best conclusion. Damn straight. Finn. Okay. I'm very conflicted. I'm very conflicted because while oh, wow, I feel okay. It's a really good story. I think it's ultimately I think the fact that you can't get the true ending without like you have to like go through 2 playthroughs really, like, or get 2 alternate endings in order to get the true ending. I think is kind of a I don't like that, especially when I did literally everything correct. You know, like it's a different case than what was in that one game I played a couple years ago with multiple endings. Oh, hold on. I'm gonna where was it? Was it only 2023 when I played that? No, it was 2022, right? Where is it? No, has it been? When did I play this fucking game that I'm thinking of? I think I still have it downloaded. I don't think I ever deleted it. Where did it go? It wasn't 2021. Was it the same year I played The Veil? Where the frick is it? Oh, I was a teenage exocolonist. There it is. Teenage Exocolonist, hold on. That one has multiple endings. But the way that is framed is that there's like a sort of timey-wimey fuckery going on, right? And to me, doing that to then have multiple endings feels more is not, it feels more satisfying as the player, as opposed to what this game had, where it's like, you did everything right, but we're still gonna force this specific ending on you, even though you did everything right. So like I should have gotten the ending, the true ending, like that first thing, because I had done all the correct choices. Hungry lamb. But overall, because of that, and some of the weird framing, and some of the scenes were a little kind of, and then kind of some of the vibes at the end were a little to me personally, from my perspective, it was like little creepy ish. I don't really care for that, but I'm still gonna give it an 8 out of 10. I kind of wish there was more of that father-daughter connection, because that's definitely the relationship I felt was here. Or maybe even a brother-sister vibe. And they didn't really lean into that. I think it's very close to a 9 out of 10, because it's very consistent in its tone. But honestly, this would be a 9 out of 10 if I was able to get my true ending on that first perfect run, because I did literally all the best options. I got max affinity, but it didn't give me the true ending. That's annoying. I don't like that. As a player. Let's see if the Hungry Lamb is. So we'll give it a 4. PC details, 11 hours. Great log. Games. Or lists, reviews, journal. Oh, I forgot to. Yeah, whatever. Okay, now I always see what's the next game. Hold on, let me. Spin it. Let's see. No, thank you. I don't feel like playing Metro. Oh, is this another? I think this is another Asian. Spirit and the Mouse. Is this another Asian-made game? No, but okay, this one looks like it'll be fun. Oh no, maybe it's French. Another French game. Sacre bleu. But okay, yeah, we'll do Spirit and a Mouse next, which I think the next time I'm going to be able to stream, not going to be until no, I might not be. I don't think I'm gonna be able to stream until Tuesday. I'm gonna be busy on the weekend and on Monday, so there's a chance there's a Saturday night stream, but I might be too tired for that. So, but y'all, thank you for hanging and joining me on this journey through late Ming Dynasty. Clay is finally fucking live after not being live for who knows how many weeks. He's opening up magic cards. The fucking nerd. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed this game. I think the writing was really strong. I didn't have any issues with the translation. You know, nothing that took me out anyway. Though I am curious if I understood Chinese and if I had read the original, if actually I would have gotten a different vibe from certain scenes. I am curious about that. If there was actually, if in translation certain vibes were lost. I am curious about that as someone who understands how language works to a certain degree. I am terrible at learning languages, but I understand how things get, how vibes do get lost in translations. Yeah, we're gonna raid Clay. Y'all, thank you for hanging. I will be live whenever next I can be live with Spirit and the Mouse. For now, farewell. Woo. Oh, hi.